Send me on.
Yeah, you got a Mac, so that's why you don't have to worry about these cam issues. But then if I turn my cam on, damn.
Yeah, you're in the
Incel
same
fear.
place. You're in the same place where I saw you before. And see, now you're moving like an animorph.
Cool. At least they don't have to see the incel beard. So we here. Go ahead and introduce us, brother, because I really don't remember the episode number. Episode 9 though, right? Season 2?
No, I think this is season 2, I believe, episode 6 of They Called Us Madmen with Banks and Davis. It's not 750, it's 750. Yeah.
750.
No, yeah, see, it is episode 6.
How do you know about that movie?
Oh, I used to watch that movie all the time. Come on. I hate when you and Eve are the ones who always like, how you know about that? How you know about this? I asked a question for Talk to Me Nice. I say something about Insecure. And it's like, Davis, how do you know about Insecure? Then I say that when on the Best of 2020, and you're like, how do you know about Insecure? Like, so I can't know about shit?
No, you can't. And we didn't think you would know about that, especially all about the Benjamins.
Oh, no, come on.
But that's hilarious.
I might end up like Christopher Reeve and he fucking drops down.
I'll have to watch that tonight after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's on Netflix now. But yeah, this is They Called Us Madmen, season 2, episode 6. We're doing this live. So you won't hear the new intro that producer Banks cooked up the other day, and it is fire. Fuego. Just a little bit of everything, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I mean, some bars from Tyrese, some bars about Jeff Jarrett and never drawing a dime. Like us, we'll never draw a dime as long as we do this podcast, but hey, we can try.
Oh, they're here when it's on the DSPs. You know, it'll be on DSPs by tomorrow.
It'll be there, but I'm saying if anyone's watching right now live, because we're about to try to tweet it out. This is Super Bowl Sunday as we were recording. And we decided to do a football-themed episode about football movies, TV shows, and video games because neither of our team is in the Super Bowl, so I don't give a fuck. That's why I'm in my gear. But yeah, I mean, we got a whole big slate planned too for the next coming weeks. I think it'll be a very, very interesting time, and that's why we're trying to do stuff like this, go live, tweet more from the account at tcumm So make sure to follow that. Make sure to subscribe either on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, recommend. That's why I did that public service announcement. And then you had to do some bullshit with Bret Hart. You know, I think about, you know, I'm just, you know, I'm a talented guy. I'm a talented wrestler, but I'm boring as fuck. You know, I can't cut a promo. You know, got kicked in the head.
What are you talking about, bruh? Now you go. See, now you went far twice.
Twice? I mean, we
went far twice.
Hey, I'll just say this. Like, you know what? Bret Hart. Fuck Bret Hart.
See,
we're not talking about Bret Hart. We're not talking about Bret Hart today. We might be talking about Brett Favre. Again, shouts to Public Enemies for where Brett Favre beats Bret Hart. For also having me on this past Wednesday. But
the bros. Shouts out to the bros.
Definitely, yeah. But Banks, we're going to talk about movies, and I think since we're already kind of talking about wrestling, I think we should talk about the 30 for 30. This was the XFL. Did you see it?
Absolutely. I saw it the first day it came out.
And what did you think?
Vince McMahon's a hustler. Vince McMahon embodies failing and then getting your money back, because I feel like after The Rock and his $7 bought XFL for that amount, he still has some type of stake in it. I don't ever want to think in my mind that Vince McMahon is just letting something go without a price. So he definitely has some percentage in it.
You mean currently, but yeah, but back in the day,
the second entry, but the first one was just like, you know, this.
He took it.
Maybe it was like a money laundering. Yeah, I feel like it was a money laundering scheme.
No, I mean, anyone who knows about Vince McMahon he's someone who probably wanted to take over the world, not the restaurant that they created, like the literal world we live on. But, and again,
speaking of restaurants, My fault. Remember WWF New York?
That's what I said. It went from WWF to the world. They changed it.
Okay, so you were speaking in that metaphorical sense. Okay, I
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah, because at Survivor Series 02, they call it the world. They stopped calling it WWF New York around that time. And then it shut down like months later, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, like if you listen to past WWE writers, they'll say like Vince McMahon doesn't know shit about sports. So it's funny for him to like try to create a football league and be like, we're going to bring back hard hitting action to football. It's like you are in the wrestling, you're in the wrestling business, you're in the entertainment business. How are you going to create a football league? And this was probably really much like motivated by Jim Ross, who always wanted to call football. I mean, with the Oklahoma Sooners and all that shit. I mean, he called games, but it's a fantastic doc. The funny thing is that McMahon's partner Dick Ebersol, his son, made it, so it's kind of not really throwing shade at anyone in terms of the people in charge. It's more just like, the players sucked and that was it. Like, that's why it failed. Not that the guy in charge didn't know shit about football. Did you watch any XFL games by chance?
No, I was watching the games live. The LA team, I was watching those games live, bro. We won the only championship from the XFL. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, I was gonna say like, because again, it was only one season, one and done, basically. I was too young to watch it. But yeah, was it as bad when you were watching it? When were you hyped for it? Because again, being a wrestling fan, seeing that they're gonna like create a football league, where you're like, oh shit, like the XFL is coming. Were you excited for it? Well, Banks can't hear Banks right now, so I'm gonna keep going. But I mean, the doc is fantastic to see Vince McMahon get angry at Bob Costas for Bob Costas calling Vince McMahon out on his bullshit, which is something no.
Because I was more so interested in the oh my god.
We're having technical difficulties now for the second week in a row, and we're not on Zoom, we're on StreamYard. So this is cursed at this point. But as I was saying, to see Bob Costas at basically call Vince McMahon on his bullshit is hilarious. And see Vince McMahon get so infuriated. And again, it all could be Vince McMahon portraying the Vince McMahon character, but I think there is some truth to it about being a carny and a fraud and a guy who just knows wrestling and doesn't know anything else. And Bob Costas is like, you can't think that this is a good idea and that you could have thought it succeeded. Like, look what happened. You had poor players, you had poor ratings. It just like it was a flop. And you're in a business where everything's fake anyway. And the whole thing was that Bob Costas was a wrestling fan, so it's not like he was anti-wrestling. He was just anti-Vince McMahon. Yeah, because that was like years later. I think when the doc came out, Meltzer said, because that was a big takeaway still years later, is the Bob Costas interview from the XFL, is that Vince McMahon was that pissed about this interview gone wrong. And that was the whole thing where he's like, you want to punch me or something like that? Like, you just like say to my like going full like character, but like, is this for real? Like,
that's when he got in Bob Costas' face and he said,
yeah,
you want to talk about it, pal? Vince say
okay.
pal. That means you really got heat with you.
Hey, or like, yeah, it's heat, or a weird way to say like friend or buddy. Like, hey, pal. Like, how's it going?
That's what you're gonna say when you older. When you get older, you're gonna start saying the same thing. You're gonna start calling people pal.
Eesh. I don't know about that, but it's a great doc. We could probably talk about a bunch of whole other 30 for 30 football docs. I mean, both of them, part 1 and part 2, the 80s version of the Miami Hurricanes against the 2000s version of the Hurricanes. It's with Michael Irvin, who in hindsight is just now the memes from the losing recipes to the we want more. We need more. And then we're going to stomp on their throat and rip it out. Just like, I mean, you could tell that, again, when they were saying that they were getting the clubs before the Dolphins, they were probably also getting the best Coke before the Dolphins during that era.
Bruh.
So
Michael Irvin is from, I think he's from Miami. I know he's from Florida.
Yeah, no, that was the whole point of that first stock is that Harold Schnellenberger, I believe, recruited solely out of Florida to build the Miami Hurricanes football program from scratch and in his image. And then Jimmy Johnson kept that same philosophy. And then it kind of went downhill in the 90s when Dwayne Johnson showed up, so it made sense. And then it picked back up.
Bro, you're not gonna do that real quick. Like I ain't heard.
Well, go on then. Like I mean, he tore his knee, and then he had to go to the CFL where he flopped and had the whole $7 in my pocket.
You see how God's plan worked, though.
I mean, if you we'll get to Dwayne Johnson and his football ambitions and wanting to live out that dream later when we get into other movies and TV shows. But it didn't work out for him in the pros, and that's why he's not hit for him at the Hurricanes. Congrats, you got 1 sack on Charlie Ward, big deal. You can show that clip in Furious 7, but fuck off already. We get it. Throw up that you fucking God, this guy. That's where I love The Rock, the wrestler. Dwayne Johnson is just irritating at times.
Hey, this not to talk about Dwayne Johnson, bro. Get to the fucking point, because you about to start being disrespectful.
No. I was already disrespectful to Bret Hart. I can't be disrespectful to Dwayne Johnson.
No, double down on that bullshit.
But no, again, the part 2 picks up when Butch Davis, I believe, shows up, and then we got, the fucking Willie McGahees, we got Santana Moss, Greg Olson's, Ken Dorsey. My dad loves Ken Dorsey, of course, but. Yeah, which era of Miami do you think is better, the 80s or the early 2000s?
The one with Michael Irvin on it, bro. There ain't no fucking there ain't no 2000. I need to watch that documentary too. No, I could tell you, bro. In the 90s, they had that goofy ass Ray Lewis on the team and Warren Sapp. And Warren Sapp was like his big brother on the team. So that should let you know everything you need to know. And then you got The Rock on that team.
Warren Sapp, I think, took The Rock's spot when he got injured. I think is what that was.
Yeah, but you didn't see the Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharp? Warren Sapp said that he said Dwayne was like a 6 out of 10 player as far as his rating.
You could tell. Yeah, that's why Warren Sapp got the job, and then Dwayne Johnson got injured.
Yeah, so it's just like, nah, bro. Like that 90s, like we need a biopic or we need a documentary that shows everything.
Of who?
Everything. Or just keep the camera on Michael Irvin. That's what we need. I need Michael Irvin.
Oh my God. You should.
I need how they did the OJ. I need the OJ Michael Irvin.
Oh no. Come on. It's gonna be him waking up cocaine. Him working out cocaine. It'll just be too over the top. You can't give Ryan Murphy the Michael Irvin story.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. It's gonna be like, what's the best way? Hell, make it like an Adam Sandler movie.
I mean, he was in an Adam Sandler movie. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But
I'm just telling you. Hold on. The words of, I don't know if I should quote him, even though he's from San Francisco. I'm just saying, take care. Hello, Twitter world. You know what I'm talking about.
But yeah, we'll move on to actual football movies now. But I just thought we'd talk about the 30 for 30s real quick, and that pertained to our preferences with wrestling, and then Banks and Michael Irvin. I knew I had to bring up the U just so you could get your Michael Irvin is the GOAT shit off.
Absolutely.
But we'll first talk about so when it comes to sports and movies, I have to say I think football is probably always done the best compared to other ones. What do you think about that?
I'm sorry, say again. I'm up here trying to be PR, man.
Oh, I'm saying that football movies are always kind of done better than other sports are portrayed. Baseball is probably a close second in terms of how well it can be done in terms of acting, writing, directing, and all that. Basketball, it's very hit or miss because, again, like if you've ever seen Crossover, Anthony Mackie shoots left-handed, but then when they cut, it's a right-handed guy shooting. so like basketball, you can have hit or miss. Other sports, I mean, boxing is probably the most iconic because Scorsese, Raging Bull, Stallone, Rocky, and then Coogler, Michael B. Jordan for Creed. And there's something more cinematic about boxing where you can the training sequences and the fight scenes, the choreography for that. But it makes boxing in movies is like better than boxing in real life, in my opinion. And maybe that's just I'm not a boxing guy like you are, but I think football transitions from real life to film and TV. And do you agree with that or no?
Yeah. Boxing, I feel like it's probably better overall just because it's one prominent figure. So it's easier to express their story compared to 52 men on one team. But if it's done right, it seems like it's done right more so in TV than it is in film. You got Friday Night Lights, and yeah, I'll probably just go with Friday Night Lights because it's a show that we'll talk about later on.
Yeah,
But
we're just
but Friday Night
we'll kind
Lights
of go
is
through
like,
all the big ones.
but when you think about more so anything besides Any Given Sunday, you think about Friday Night Lights as far as like football, like anything film wise.
Yeah, like I said, I have a whole list, and we'll get into that. I mean, I think Any Given Sunday will probably is the best football movie in my opinion in terms of it probably tells the best story in football, which is a little bit of everything about Willie Beeman's a young unknown who becomes a star instantly, which happens in the NFL with guys like Arian Foster, Fred Jackson that one year in Buffalo. Just it could happen instant. Like you show up one week and then you're the star, and then it carries over for a couple games, and then you get figured out and it doesn't work, or the spotlight becomes too big and it gets to your head. And then you got like the Dennis Quaid story. And spoiler alert, we'll be spoiling these movies and TV shows. So if you haven't seen any of what we're talking about, you're probably gonna have to skip. But hopefully you've all seen at least Any Given Sunday. Yeah, the Dennis Quaid character who's like the John Elway, Brett Favre type, on his last legs. Al Pacino as Al Pacino as like the coach who's weathered and stole my money away and pushed away anyone who I ever loved. Really top notch Pacino. This is one of probably his last great performances because it was like right after Heat, so he was all in on like the overacting and the just seemed like he was on 11 every single time. And it deals with the stuff like the Lawrence Taylor and the concussions, way before the NFL would fully want to admit it. It does that with the James Woods character being like the piece of shit doctor, and Matthew Modine being the one who tries to be the good doctor. You got the John C. McGinley, Jim Rome type character as the journalist who everyone hates. And I think it has probably the best portrayal of an athlete, and that's LL Cool J as like the star running back, because it makes sense. He's got the swag and cares about the stats and putting up points on the board and his endorsement deals and all that. And Aaron Eckhart as the offensive coordinator, who's supposed to be like a Lane Kiffin, Kyle Shanahan prototype for about like we got to run the offense this way, stop being outdated. But what are your thoughts on Any Given Sunday? And do you think it's the greatest football movie like I do?
Great movie. Got a little cheesy towards the end. Overall, you got Oliver Stone directing, writing it, and then you got upcoming Jamie Foxx on film. I'm talking about movies. Yep. He was upcoming. Otherwise, Night in Living Color, he had his own show. And then you got LL Cool J, who that's probably to this day is his biggest film role. I'll say other than Deep. Nah,
my head is like a shark's fin.
No, they gave him a good check to do that song and be in that movie. Great movie, but otherwise than that, no, he got that, and then he got the movie with Omar Epps I forgot about. So it was a wave.
Oh, In Too Deep.
There you go. I forgot the name, but yeah, that's the name. So it was great overall. And then shouts out to Roy. I'm seeing the comments right now. He's right. I forgot about Remember the Titans.
I had it on my list. We'll go through them, like I said, get brief shot. But Any Given Sunday, I think, is probably the biggest one. Like I said,
But you know what? I'm sorry. No, looking at that comment and thinking about it now, even though I didn't think about it, Any Given Sunday was just a rated R version of Remember the Titans.
Well, that's what I was saying. But again, football really is like a rated R sport and enterprise that it's supposed to be portrayed as a PG thing, with pizza commercials and the Play 60 stuff, but really Any Given Sunday shows the dark side of it with the players doing drugs and cheating on their wives. Again, like LL Cool J and Bill Bellamy are in the bathroom together getting blown, and then LL Cool J and is just like doing coke, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I believe they're on some Earl Thomas and his brother shit with that.
Yeah, I think that was a shoot as well. I ain't gonna say it. I ain't gonna say I heard LL. Hold on, let me put myself on camera in case this ever come out. I ain't gonna say, even though I'm in the Matrix, I ain't gonna say I never heard of LL doing coke, but I never said he actually did it. But maybe he did. I'll just say that.
No, I mean, hey, this is all speculation. Maybe the Oliver Stone writing was too real. Maybe that's why. Again, Oliver Stone. There's a great article about the making of Any Given Sunday on Complex, and apparently, when like the cinematographer showed up on the first day, Oliver Stone was like, "Welcome to Vietnam," and it was like, "What do you mean?" Because again, Oliver Stone made Platoon, made Scarface, wrote Scarface. Brian De Palma directed, but very Born on the 4th of July, JFK. He comes from like that kind of political background, and he was a war vet himself. But comparing a football movie to like war is outrageous. And then and he wasn't the first person to take it. He wasn't the only person to take it seriously. LL again took it more seriously with the "We Got a Game," and Jamie Foxx was like, "No, we don't. This is a movie. We are characters. I am an actor.
Don't hit my buddy."
Yeah, and LL, and I respect LL for going all in. Again, he wanted to be Julian Washington, and shouts to him. I mean, he was probably one of those guys who didn't play football or wanted to play football and couldn't, because either way he wasn't good enough or just didn't want to fuck up the music thing. But he's like, no, I'm going to get into this role, and like I'm going to live this life. I'm going to be, yeah. But there's a whole, like, again, two crazy stories about that. And realistically, when I first watched it, I'm like, if you broke this movie after like every 30 minutes, it's like a solid miniseries. Like that could have been on HBO, then because how it's written and directed, Oliver Stone style at that point, he had the frantic editing, which he did with Natural Born Killers. And he just like, it's a lot of weird putting images within images. Like he cuts to Ben-Hur and Al Pacino and Jamie Foxx at that dinner scene where he's like, "You're a goddamn quarterback," and that's like, and then there's like gladiators, like, and all, and that's how he saw like these football players. They're warriors, and that's what James Woods says in the scene where he's fired. It's like, that's how Oliver Stone, probably like Vince McMahon, didn't watch football, but he had like this perception of it. Like Vince McMahon's like, with wrestling, it's hard hitting, and so is football. And Al Pacino's like, Oliver Stone's like, it's war. These men are the trenches is at the huddle, and the 50-yard line. That's where everything goes back and forth. And I don't think he's wrong to think that and portray it the way he did with the realistic approach of CTE, drugs, the Willie Beeman character being the prototype, for being what
LT, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, his CT was like my webcam. As soon as he came up from a hit, he said that do-rag was musty as hell too, by the way. I love LT. LT got me into football, him and Deion Sanders. They're the reason why I watch football to this day.
But you know what? And funny enough, like he's actually really good in this movie, and he gives that speech to Jamie Foxx where he's like, it's all going to be gone one day. And like anyone who was ever around, they'll be gone too. Like you won't have nothing. Like the game and the people have taken it all from you, essentially is what he says to him. And because again, like this character, Willie Beeman, just shows up. Again, his whole thing was that he got, in trouble in college for taking a tuxedo from a guy, and then late draft pick, bounced from team to team. They try to make him a safety. That fucked him up. And now he finally gets his chance because the backup to the quarterback gets injured. So he's the backup. And basically very much like Colin Kaepernick shouts him for, when it's your time, you got to make something out of it. And like, who do you think, again, I think you tweet that Kyler Murray is modern day Willie Beeman. Did you tweet that from the account?
Oh yeah, that was me. Because it made more sense. Because in real
terms
life,
of like the size and like because Jamie Foxx isn't a big guy.
Yeah, the option read too.
Yeah.
So it just made more sense just because it's like he can't look over the offensive line. So I'm not gonna compare him to that fucking jabroni Drew Brees. So I said let's go with Kyler Murray instead.
Well, I
But
mean, and I was thinking, and after, yeah, they're both 99, and Mike Vick's season at Virginia Tech is 99 2000. That could be another precursor. Robert Griffin at Baylor, then that first year in Washington, probably another mirror image. Russell Wilson would probably also be another good comp, but then Willie Beeman, he has the music video. After like 3 games, he's already doing commercials.
that's about right. It's the same thing that's in Miami.
That's what I mean. It's like Oliver Stone, probably, like I said, or the screenwriter as well. I think John Logan was the main screenwriter, and he went on to write a bunch of other good movies. But the instant fame that comes with that's, again, any given Sunday, someone can be a star, and that carries over to next week. And that's the thing where like fantasy football screws that up, because if you got this person on the waiver wire, they showed out 1 week, and then like, all right, I'm going to start the next week and expect something the same. It doesn't happen. It's like, oh, he's a scrub. And Willie Beeman, again, after those 3 weeks where he's, showing out to the DMX song, and it's like, yeah, this guy's unstoppable. And then the next week they're playing in the rain and he's just getting his ass kicked. It's like, that's the reality. It's like, not everyone's going to do it, but we'll move on in a minute. But it probably has the best speech in movie history when Al Pacino says, like, we fight for that inch, like, with our fingernails. Pacino's like, oh yeah, like, I'm gonna fucking kill this shit.
Look, speaking of coke, I was about to say Pacino back in his day had it.
Oh yeah, that's really, I think, the character, it fits him so well, because I mean, this is a guy who already had some of the best roles he'd ever done, from Serpico, Michael Corleone, Tony Montana, just all-time actor. And then he gets this role that is very much to him at this time, where people could say he's washed up, but he's past his prime, and that's the role of the Tony Montana character. Like, Cameron Diaz wants to move on because he's not winning anymore, which is always the thing in movies and TV when it comes to football. It's whenever it's a coach, it's, you used to be the best, and now you ain't shit. I mean, it makes sense. Like, how many coaches have a tenure like Bill Belichick in the modern day, or a coach could make it to the Super Bowl 1 year like Sean McVay, and then now it's like, all right, what are you doing lately? Same thing with Mark McCarthy for your boys.
Oh my God, why you bring up that goddamn name, man?
But he gives that speech, and you see Jamie Foxx's reaction to it, and the camera moves slowly on him as like those words are hitting him, because it's up to him now to go out and win this game. And Pacino is just like, it's about living and dying, and that's gonna make the fucking difference between winning and losing. It's all time, like, get pumped, like, motivate yourself speech. And that's why I think it's the best football movie, because it has a little bit of everything. There's a great early rewatchables that Bill Simmons and Chris Ryan did about it, if you want more in-depth detail. But Banks and I just wanted to give our opinion on them. But again, what's your favorite scene from the movie by chance, Banks?
The scene when Jamie Foxx got socked out in the bathroom.
So the worked fight with LL Cool J, not the shoot fight that we didn't see.
The shoot fight, he actually went to sleep.
He went to sleep. I know. I was watching all those clips today where where LL Cool J says he lifts up the helmet, and as soon as it's up, like, he's already punched him. Like, he's got like reflexes that quick, and like, yeah. LL Cool J said it himself. Bill Bellamy confirmed it. It's an all-time great story. But yeah, when they're fighting in the shower, nonetheless, like, yeah, let's fight in a place where we can all slip and tear our knees.
Well, we all butt naked. I'm not trying to get knocked out next to a man's dome.
That makes it even worse. Yeah, if you get knocked out, it's like, oh shit. But
and that's a work. That's actually not my favorite scene. My favorite scene is everything that Lawrence Taylor's is in. So
when he chainsaws the car in half.
Yeah, he chainsawed the truck. That was hilarious.
Respectfully paid.
What he said, that I'm about to get my bonus. I gotta go out there.
My $1 million.
My $1 million. I gotta get my bonus. That was my favorite scene. Just everything. Give me the shot. That. Go ahead. Give me the card.
Yeah, that's again like, and then that's similar to another movie we'll talk about, Varsity Blues, where they're like, give him the needle.
Hey, you know if that was a shoot, LT brain was like Campbell's soup the next day.
So LL Cool J thought he was a character, and LT's like, no, I'm Lawrence Taylor still. I'm not Sean Shark LeVay or what his character's name. Like he's like,
No, that
I'm
was
Lawrence.
a word.
He's like, I'm Lawrence Taylor playing.
LT on the field.
I mean, yeah. See, and here's where professionalism comes into play. So LT wrecks Joe Theismann's leg. Is Joe Theismann going on places 20 years later, complaining about it, bitching about it?
No, Joe Theismann right now is walking still with that limp.
Yeah, but Bret Hart gets super kicked, and it's like, Bret Hart, if Goldberg was a better wrestler, like, exactly. No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying
again, bro. He started listening.
I'm saying.
He did the shit when we started.
I'm saying they're comparable. You can compare the two. Joe Theismann got his leg torn in half. No,
he got kicked by somebody that's 280 pounds, bro, and he had a stroke afterwards as a result of that.
Well, maybe you don't cheat on your wife, and karma won't do that to you.
Gee, what are you talking about? What? Let the hate go, bro. Please stop talking about that man, Bret Hart. Please let that man live.
So now we'll move on to another movie that portrays football in a realistic way, in my opinion, and also has a member of The Godfather as the head coach, which is The Program from 1993 with James Caan as the coach. It's got Omar Epps as the star running back, and Omar Epps really kind of did it all in movies and sports. He's in Love and Basketball. He's in Major League 2. He replaces your idol Wesley Snipes as William Mace Hayes. He is your idol. Come on, you picked how many Wesley Snipes movies in the action movie draft?
Right. Because once again, hold on, let me turn this camera on. Fuck all this PR stuff. Once again, and being in the Matrix, this horrible webcam. Once again, Wesley Snipes is the greatest action movie star of all time. One of the greatest actors of all time. What are you talking about? He ain't my idol. He got like 10 good movies. That's action based.
We're not doing this again. But anyway, Omar Epps. And then
talk about Bret Hart. All right, bet.
Omar Epps he's the track star in Higher Learning. And in The Program, he's the star running back. So Omar Epps tried to do it all in sports and movies.
Legend. You ever
only parts of it. I haven't seen it all the way. Yeah.
He was a track star in that. Pac had him shook.
But The Program, much like Any Given Sunday, portrays football in a realistic way with like players getting paid in college. Alvin Mack, the boosters hand them the envelopes, and he's like, "There's $50 in here." He's like, "There'll be more if you keep playing good." And then he like having the tutors do the homework for them. There's the guy, Andrew Brzezinski, who's also in Any Given Sunday as like the metal guy with like the paint on his face. He's the steroid guy in The Program. He's like, again, shooting steroids, and I think he was who was the guy? Zangief in Street Fighter? He was that guy in the Street Fighter movie, which was Van Damme.
The dude that in Any Given Sunday with like the stars on his face or whatever.
Yeah, that's the same guy. Yeah.
Damn, that is him.
Mm-hmm. And he's in The Program as the steroid head, Latimer.
Okay, so that's not a work. That's a shoot.
Yeah, it's like, and I don't know why Vince McMahon was like, "Let's get this guy a tryout. Look at him."
Yeah, he was Brian Cage before the cage.
He could have made him the new Ultimate Warrior, the Ultimate Warrior's brother, Mega Warrior.
Yeah, you would have had to do it like that. You would have had to do like for the Green Rangers, Dragonzoid, or whatever. That's what you do for Ultimate Warrior, because remember, it was 2 Ultimate Warriors.
We're not going to do that here. We'll save that for another day when we do crazy conspiracy theories.
Oh, yeah. I was about to say that's going to be the part when we do the conspiracy theory episode, because, yeah, I got a theory on that. And I remember being a kid and they said Kane wasn't the same Kane with the mask.
Yeah, I heard that as well.
He was Dr. Yakum in that mask.
But yeah, The Program, written and directed by David S. Ward, who did Major League, so he kind of had a sports background. And again, like the action, both the football action in Any Given Sunday is really good. It's just that frantic editing style of Oliver Stone makes it like all over the place and choppy. And compared to the program, it's just kind of very like 90s based, where they have the packed crowd, but it's just like very slow motion to show that these guys aren't really the guys playing football. Like they had to do that for Wesley Snipes still in the bases. They had to shoot all those scenes. They had to play all those scenes in slow motion because he couldn't run the bases, apparently.
I don't know why. They didn't want him to do it. Maybe it was a liability.
No, he couldn't do. They had him try to do it, and that's why it's always slowed down because he couldn't. See, there you go.
Let me find out Wesley Snipes have ACL tears, bro.
No, apparently he's a horrible athlete. Like that was for a guy who's so good at karate. Like he couldn't play other sports. Like that's why in White Man Can't Jump, same thing. He's got like the high dribble. He's always doing like the floater. But we'll talk about basketball movies another day.
Most professional fighters ain't the best athletes, bro. Even though they are athletes, but they're not.
No, it's a different type of athlete. Yeah, like Wesley Snipes could probably kick any, basketball player, football player's ass with the, again, he's a master of that machine with like you just got to hit the boards or whatever to move it.
Yeah, I'm telling you. He would have beat the hell out of look. All he would have had to do to LT and any given Sunday to touch his forehead right here. That man brain would have swelled up. It would have exploded.
But have you ever seen the program, Banks, or no?
No. Or it's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah, I sent you the clip the other day with the guy talking at the huddle.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it.
It has a famous scene where Omar Epps shows up to Halle Berry and he wants to get back with her. And she's like, no, I'm with my boyfriend still. He's like, well, then why'd you kiss me? He's like, because we weren't together because I saw him with a white woman. He's like, oh, shit. The guy shows up and he tells him to stay black right after. And then he's like, what was that about? So even in the early 90s, Dr. Umar that's what probably made Dr. Umar. He saw the program like, this is not how we are going to do things.
Hey, you might be on to something. I ain't gonna even hold you.
I mean, it's 93. How old is Dr. Umar? You probably saw that at like 16, 15.
About 42, somewhere around there. 38, 42, something. So it makes sense.
And he's like, he saw like, you cheating on Halle Berry for a white woman? No. This ends today.
I mean, it makes sense, but unless you Eric Benet, you cheating on every type of woman.
Don't ever end up like Eric Benet. That's all I know is that. And she was with David Justice too, right?
The baseball player.
Yeah,
yeah, she was with him. Apparently, she was with Wesley Snipes, and it's a whole problematic behind the scenes thing as to why they.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I shouldn't really be defending Wesley Snipes if it is true.
I mean, it's too late now. You're Wesley Snipes' unsigned agent.
She went from that to fucking a fake Jason Momoa. I'm upset.
Oh, Olivier Martinez.
Yeah, the dude that kind of looks like you. He's got long hair.
The guy from SWAT, the villain from SWAT. That's what he is. He's the villain in SWAT.
You're right. I forgot all about that because everybody was hating. They was like, "She got with the SWAT villain."
But yeah, the program it shows really well. I mean, when the quarterback, he's the Heisman contender. Then he basically was on some Johnny Manziel shit. He was drinking and fucking going off the rails. Again, the coach, James Caan's character, is on the hot seat because you haven't had a winning season, and a lot of the boosters are going to get upset. And it's just like, can there just be a movie where the coach is already great? Like that's the whole thing about Friday Night Lights. The same thing, and we'll get to that. Like Billy Bob Thornton's character is on the hot seat if they don't win the title. The only probably coach who was, I mean, I remember the Titans are like Denzel's the new coach, so they're already upset because he's black and like he took Will Patton's job. It's like, well, if Will Patton was doing a better job, he probably wouldn't be the defensive coordinator now. But for something, there's
Happy Black History Month. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch Remember the Titans.
But I used to watch the program a lot, and that's what I mean. I think you have to watch the program and then any given Sunday after for like a nice double feature about the realistic view of football from the cinematic perspective. To go into that detail, but other than that, the program just solid. Chrissy Swanson was in that. Apparently, she's MAGA now, so that's very disappointing. Because I watched Adam Sandler, the Adam Sandler movie Big Daddy the other day. She's in that too. She's the girlfriend that leaves him. I was like, what's Chrissy Swanson doing now? And it's like it was like I go to Wikipedia. It basically says like she's pro MAGA, and I'm like, oh, that's disappointing. I'm like, that's upsetting. The original Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Christy Swanson.
Yeah, Adam Sandler got good taste. I'll just say that because he's in cast a couple of them.
But that's the whole thing to his movies. It's like I gotta have a hot girlfriend, and then I gotta have a hotter one after her, or something like that. But
hey, when you the boss, you could do things like that. Happy Madison Productions.
So do you want to move on to Remember the Titans right now?
Let's go. So we just basically naming the movies that we like, right? The football movies. Okay, can I get my pick?
Like... Oh, sure.
Yeah, Waterboy. That's my favorite football movie ever.
Really, your favorite? I mean, I like it a lot.
I'm dead serious.
Again, LT, don't smoke crack. He says it.
I know
at the linebacker camp.
It's funny, but in retrospect, it's like he had to fucking. I need to find that earring too. I haven't had my ears pierced in forever, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and get that.
I swear to God, you better not show up with the LL Cool J earrings.
I'm gonna do it. The LT earring when he had the little light.
LT. Sorry, my apologies. Yeah, LT earrings. With the lightning.
I'm gonna see if I can find that, bro. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
Damn, that'd be hilarious.
But hindsight is 2020 because remember, it's like he was doing coke. He probably was doing crack, which is they the same, but they not the same.
He was doing a whole bunch of shit. I mean, we know LT was doing crazier shit in the 2000s, but yeah.
Oh, did you see that documentary, by the way, of LT?
No.
If I could find the link, I'll send it to you. It was a Showtime documentary.
Okay. So it's a legit one, not some YouTube one where they like stitch together a bunch of clips or anything like that.
Yeah, but it's everything we already know. Like, if you just want to hear him talk about it and be sad about it, that's all you need to know. That this is. Hey man, a lot of great people just do drugs. I think we talked about that before. Like, it's not like he had a bad upbringing. You know what I mean? Like his parents weren't there. He was going through. When you have superpowers, you need something to fuel the superpowers. It's like
that. I remember, and I think this probably equates to it in the same way that Joe Rogan said when the John Jones shit was really going on, like his fall from grace. Joe Rogan was essentially like, when you're the baddest man in the world, and you have that perception, because John Jones was beating everyone and beating them in ways like no one ever saw. He's like, you have to keep that mindset, so then you start doing out of control stuff. And it was like, Mike Tyson, look what happened to Mike Tyson, and probably the same thing with LT. Like, to be that monster on the field, you have to be like that 24/7, so that way when you're on the field, you don't lose that. Because if you lose it, then you're nothing. Like, that was actually like, was LT that much better of an athlete compared to guys at the linebacker? Probably, realistically, yeah. Otherwise, he would have been that good. But that what he played with, that intensity, is what pushed it over the edge. That's what made him LT. Besides just Lawrence Taylor
and his high IQ, his IQ was.
No, yeah, I'm saying like he had all the skill set as an athlete and the football mind, but the intensity pushed it to next. It's like Ric Flair already being a great worker, but then when he became the Ric Flair that would do the promos and then party, go out on the bars and do all the drugs, live in the gimmick, bled into him being the performer in the ring and on the mic as well. You were living the lifestyle because you don't want to lose it.
Absolutely.
But Waterboy's not a bad choice. I mean, the football scenes in the Waterboy, he's just like a monster. Like, he just tackles everyone.
he was LT with autism. That's all he was.
I remember, I saw that pretty young. He's like, what is Captain Insano doing? He pokes him in the eye. Again, the fucking Big Show. Right. Show no mercy.
How old are you? What he said? I'm 30 years old.
Yeah, that's some high quality H2O.
First line of the movie, he says that. I was like, all right, bro. Even as a kid, I was like, we here.
It's like, and at the end to revive him, he has the ultra cold water that Fairuza Bulk gives him.
Gave it to Mama.
Yeah, Henry Winkler. Yeah, don't play football's the devil. I just remember I always would say that after seeing it. Like,
well, Mama don't know won't hurt her. He had the tattoo.
Yeah. And shouts to Henry Winkler for also being like Bill Walsh with the playbook. He's like, I got this scheme and this scheme. And then the guy stole it like some Bill Belichick shit.
Well, shit, we might have to say that for the conspiracy episode as well.
Oh yeah, but no, like the guy had the playbook and like he was like not letting it go. There's a Lynn Swan is the guy on the sideline and and he keeps saying shit and the girlfriend gets upset. And then there's the whole.
He finally got hit.
Yeah,
you're like, all right, bro.
There's the Dan Fouts. It's anyone's game, and then
the guys in the stands. I forgot their names, but he was like, that boy reminded me of Joe Montana.
Yeah, Ron Howard's brother. Ron Howard's brother and the other guy. Yeah.
Joe Montana is a quarterback, you dick.
Yeah, like so. Do you think that or the next movie, The Longest Yard remake with Adam Sandler, which is the better of the two?
Damn, The Longest Yard was more fire because of cast.
Yeah, I would say
it was the cast, and then it was a little bit more serious too.
Yeah, because we got Chris Rock, we got Bob Sapp, we got Goldberg, Nelly,
Cole being a racist. Dropping the N-bomb.
Oh, I was so upset when that happened. I'm like, not Stone. Like, no. And that's when like he runs like, you ain't on D, ain't you, bitch? And he says that to Nelly.
Your man Kevin Nash is in it.
Oh yeah.
The estrogen pills was in this.
Yeah, because he's a bitch on screen and in the shoot. But yeah, Brian Bosworth. Great Khali, and WWE signed him based off that.
Damn, the Great Khali was in that because they treated him.
They played ping pong.
Yeah, they treated him like a villain. It was like, "Hey, big fella, we need you to play for the team." Adam Sandler, then he had to play ping pong with him.
Yeah, he was like, he's like, I got a new ball right here. He's like, don't get angry, don't kill me. Yeah, it's very again, it's the Adam Sandler sense of humor and all that, but I've only seen like the opening minutes of the Burt Reynolds one, the original. Very, very problematic in hindsight. Like he abuses his girlfriend and then drives drunk and all that. I'm just like, yeah, this is not a good look right here. Oh, whoa.
Hey, Burt was wilding.
But yeah, the Adam Sandler one is just like, again, who would believe that Adam Sandler was a quarterback at any time? Again, he's supposed to be washed up by the time he goes to prison, but it's like, come on.
No, he could have been a quarterback in the 70s, 60s.
But it's like, but this is like he played in like the 90s era. Like he's supposed to compete with guys like Randall Cunningham and Steve Young. Come on. We've all seen Adam Sandler.
That's true. But he would have fit best in like the 60s, 70s.
When they're smoking cigarettes at halftime.
Yeah, in the 90s, no.
And that's the thing. It's like they got Michael Irvin and Terry Crews as the receivers. Nelly is the running back. Even though Nelly played baseball, but but much like LL, I could believe at Nelly being a star running back.
Hey, what he said, what Chris Rock said Nelly had, I remember the line, but I want you to say it for the people.
Don't know what you're talking about.
That man was running at Chucks instead of cleats, which, well, your feet gonna bleed, bro. You ever try to do anything at Chucks, let alone run?
I was working in Chucks for a while.
Yeah, your feet was bleeding like a motherfucker, huh?
No, not really.
Man, every time I do anything at Chucks, my feet feel like they about to explode.
Didn't you say you were trying to do wrestling training in Chucks?
Yeah, my fucking feet felt like they was about to explode.
But yeah, The Longest Yard remake, I mean, it's good. It's got decent football scenes, but I want to put it up there with the top tier of football movies, but it's watchable. I mean, Remember the Titans, and that was like the real like feel-good Disney sports story. I mean, they had already done like Cool Runnings and stuff like that beforehand, but they got Denzel, and Denzel is fucking on fire. Yeah.
Did you probably didn't see it because we don't have the same algorithms, but apparently this young lady who's cute, but
I think I saw it. I think she said our guy, star of Tenet, John David Washington, is better than his pops as an actor already. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, she just in lust. That's all I told her. I was like, young lady, I know you in lust, and I'm kind of hating because it ain't me, but at the same time, you just it's Denzel, and then that's probably about it. Hey,
John David Washington, come on TCU Madman so we could talk Tenet, and Banks wants to talk to you about college and other things.
How is it being Denzel's son at an HBC, bro?
We could talk about Malcolm Marie, which we will review next week along with some other rom-coms, and other shit that Banks is excited to talk about.
Yeah, Eve up here. Shouts out to our guy Eve. He said it's a 4 out of 10. I said, all right, bro.
What's a 4 out of 10? Malcolm and Marie?
Malcolm and Marie, yeah.
Ah, fuck out of here, Eve.
That man was going through it. That's why he was watching.
Yeah, I was say like we take that to the pain chat. But yeah, remember the title, left side, strong side, Wood Harris and Ryan Hurst. Yeah, Ryan Hurst. That chemistry. It's got Ethan Suplee, who is like killing it as the comedic side character. Donald Faison takes Ryan Gosling's spot, which is like the only time that's ever happened in anything. Can you imagine Donald Faison, the star of Blade Runner 2049?
Yeah. I can imagine that. He stopped burying people after that because he's been burying people on YouTube for like 5 years now.
Who?
Donald Faison.
For what?
I don't know. He's just been burying people. Cat Williams, like everybody.
I don't know. He's close friends with Zach Braff, so maybe we should judge him a little bit more differently nowadays.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him, but apparently he's just mad at the industry. So
he was great in Clueless. Shouts to Clueless.
I'm tripping. Not Donald Faison. Faison Love is who I'm thinking about.
Oh wow, that's fucking wow.
No, I'm tripping. Donald Faison, my guy. I worked with him before. He cool as shit.
What'd you work with him on?
I'm tripping. Some TV show he was doing through NBC a couple of years ago. I gotta look it up.
Oh wait, through what?
And it wasn't Scrubs. It was something else. It wasn't Scrubs. It was something else.
Oh okay, but yeah, Ryan Gosling is like the safety or the corner that like just gets burned on every route. Then they had to put Donald Faison and the dad super mad, like, don't take my son out. You put my son back in, which is like even worse during the racial tensions going back then with in
Tennessee.
Definitely, yeah. It's sunshine.
Hey, real quick, what Zach Braff said? Because I'm trying to look it up after you just said. What he say?
What do you mean?
Did he say something problematic?
No, I'm just saying everyone hates Zach Braff because he's Zach Braff.
Yeah, I'm like, what did he do? Did he say something problematic? Because I'm looking at
No, I think it's just because Garden State is a divisive movie, even though I've never seen it. Again, because he was a star of Scrubs, even though everyone say he was probably the worst part of it, and then he made that one movie that no one saw, but he asked people for money to make it. That shit, I can't remember what it was, but like it was a GoFundMe, but like he was asking for money while he was like on a jet ski or something like that. It was like you got money. Again, like you are the star of a syndicated sitcom, like you got the money, you just didn't want to pay for it yourself. And now he's dating.
He thought he was
and now he
$1.
Yeah, no, and then now he's dating Florence Pugh, which everyone's upset about. So no one just like Zach Braff is the point of that. And Donald Faison and him, I think they do a podcast about Scrubs. My fault
for messing up the names. I was thinking about Faison.
Yeah, I'm like, why would Donald Faison have problems with Cat Williams? I'm like, who said what about who?
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm looking up the TV show. I honestly don't remember. I just know it was an NBC show, but I worked with him on that, and he got into it with my boy about the I think it was the Knicks or somebody. I don't know.
Oh shit! Like when the cameras aren't rolling.
Yeah, he got into it with him about some sports team because I think he a Jets fan, if I'm not mistaken, because he's from Harlem.
Okay. But if he's a Jets fan, he can't really say shit because we're talking about football. What are the Jets stunts in Super Bowl III?
All right, bro.
Nothing.
The same thing could be said about my team, even though the last title we won was in 96, 97.
That's more recent than fucking 1969 or whatever it was when Joe Namath was like, I guarantee we're gonna win. Like, bold claim, Joe.
If it ain't me, you see he out here burying the Jets. I ain't say nothing, bro.
Have you ever heard Gordon Solie, right? The old wrestling announcer?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard that he said that the regular season of football is a work and that the Super Bowl is a shoot? Apparently he said that.
You still got to
That's
make the playoffs,
no, that's where it was like you're a drunken idiot
right? You
who
still
works
got to
for
make the
wrestling.
playoffs.
Yeah, he's like you're a drunken idiot who works for wrestling just because you think everything, just because you live in a world where everything's fake, and then when one thing real happens, you think you know everything. Yeah, because Paul Heyman said like I think Gordon Slade probably after two bottles of vodka would say anything like that. So,
Yeah, Jim Cornette type saying.
but yeah, do you where do you rate Remember the Titans? Do you think it's a top 5 football movie of all time?
It might be number one, honestly, bro. Thinking about
Really?
it in retrospect, yeah, because it's Denzel number one, and then
But
number
that's because
two.
I mean, if you take Denzel out of it, I mean, do you think it's? I mean, because he makes that movie. I mean, he's got a solid all around cast as well.
But that's what he does. I mean, when he in a movie, it's kind of his. It's the reason why I might watch that horrible Jared
Don't
Leto
watch it.
movie.
Don't watch it.
I think I'm gonna do it,
No, don't waste your time.
but I think
I
it's
mean,
number one overall. Well,
okay.
it's not my number one. I told you my number one, but if we got to be serious, then
Yeah, I mean, you pick. I'm not surprised the Water Boys are number one because you also picked Lance Storm and Super Crazy in your greatest workers of all time. So you
bro,
really
that's
just,
who I grew up watching.
I know, but you're really just Charles Barkley out here. Like, I'll take this person, or you're the Minnesota Timberwolves taking Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn back to back.
Oh my god, I forgot. Well, I didn't forget about that draft, but that was insane. 2 point guards at that draft in 09.
But
All right,
moving
I got
on.
another pick.
Oh, go ahead.
Airbud, too.
No, I didn't even put
Golden
Airbud on the
Receiver.
list.
You know, you seen that when you was a kid.
Golden receiver because he's a golden retriever. Bravo, bravo.
Hey, great character development. That's better than what the fuck AEW been doing.
What
That's
about
what they
all
need to look. That's what they need to bring in AEW.
Airbud to wrestle?
I guarantee you, bring him in.
The saying was you could work a broomstick. Now can you work a dog?
Well, Joe Budden might say otherwise.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Fucking.
They definitely need to play him in there though. But Airbud 2 is another one of my classics. And I'm looking at the chat right now. So it's a movie I'm gonna bring up with another guy you hate later on after you get to your next pick.
But no, Airbud, I mean, I think I've seen parts of both the Airbud, the first one playing basketball. Football is next. Is baseball after that? And then there's volleyball and fucking
Yo,
soccer.
that dog, no pun intended, that dog had jobs. That dog
talk about all around athlete.
Hey, he had secret families. That motherfucker was working, bro. He like Ernest with 4 legs. Remember, Ernest had like 20 jobs. I think Ernest played football too.
He played basketball. I remember watching the basketball one because he had like the special shoes or whatever it was.
Yeah, you ever see Ernest Goes to Space?
No. I think the basketball one's the only one I've really seen. With what's his name? Oh God, the actor's name. Jim Varney. Jim Varney. There we go.
Hey, listen, when old girl come over there, hey, after y'all watch like the 10th Randall match, just be like, hey, you want to watch Ernest Goes to Space?
Nope.
You gonna be tapped out after 2 Randall matches. You gonna be like, hey, bro, I don't want to watch nothing.
Nope. I mean, the only really animal playing sports movie I remember is MVP, Most Valuable Primate, where they had the monkey play hockey. And then, like, the sequel was he was a snowboarder or a skateboarder.
They just gave them money in the 90s.
No, mid 90s to early 2000s. Animals playing sports. They're like, fuck it. Such good shit.
Like, bro, they really was just doing lines like, you know what kids are like? Monkeys doing backflips off of skateboards.
Yeah, but Airbud, see, I hate when you troll just to fucking do shit. Like, no way you are putting Airbud 2 on.
No. Gridiron Gang. If we're gonna be serious, I went to the movie to see Gridiron Gang.
You actually saw it in the theater.
Yeah, this was when I was working at Universal Studios Hollywood. So I went to go. No, I'm dead serious. When that came out, that was 06. I was working at Universal Studios. We went to go see it at the AMC.
Yeah, and this was Dwayne Johnson when he still had hair and was like showing his range as an actor a lot more back then than he does now.
Here we go.
Um, no,
Omari
no, I'm saying like
Hardwick,
no,
aka
I'm saying
Ghost.
yeah, no, I'm saying like no, like during that period he was doing roles that like he wouldn't really do now. And that's one of them, like where he's not playing the guy who's wearing khaki pants, cargo pants everywhere he fucking goes. Like this is him being
In this medium shirt.
yeah. I mean, I've seen Gridiron Gang. I've seen it a few times. The whole like the quarterbacks from one gang, the running backs from the rival gang, and like they gotta work together to win, and they're facing like the dickhead Christian high school guys, right, or whatever it was.
Yeah, that was a shoot.
Basically like Matter D, yeah, Matter Day or whatever.
Yeah, the movie was a shoot. The thing is, this how I knew The Rock was about to be a legend in movies as well, because they had him replace the actual coach that was a white dude that was getting kids from the hood in South Central. I think in Compton as well, but South Central, all those parts in LA, and bringing them to, or they was like outside at that detention center. But a lot of those recruits were coming from, or they wasn't even recruits. The ones that was locked up was from like LA, like South Central and all that.
When was the last time you watched Gridiron Gang?
2008.
So you never? I'd say I'm probably around the same time. Yeah,
But I mean,
it's okay. It's okay. I mean, the football and that's all right. It's a whole lot of The Rock trying to motivate. I mean, there's the guy who has CTE after like one hit, and it's like they won't let me play. He's like, I just want to play, and he's already got a kid or whatever. And I remember watching like, ain't you 17? How do you have a kid already? And I'm like,
yeah, you know. Oh, you didn't know back then you could have a kid when you're 17? Bet.
Yeah, I was just like, what?
You ever heard Lil Wayne? Yeah, the kid when he was 14, bro.
But Gridiron Gang, I mean, just the name was like, I remember in the mall seeing the poster like in the center where they would have those things for like as you would walk by, just would see it all the time. And I think
that's the Central Rock poster. He always doing this in his poster. He always like
cross arms and
it's like the same shit with his posters. I mean, yeah.
So I said this earlier. Varsity Blues is another one, and that's. Have you seen Varsity Blues?
It's been a long ass time.
I watched it fall of 2019. I remember last time watching it again. James Vanderbeek, Dawson from Dawson's Creek, putting on his accent to sound like he's from Texas with the "I don't want your life," just like really, really going for it.
Yeah, I remember that.
The late Paul Walker, who's like the star quarterback, Lance Harbor, and just like movie star. Like he shot when the first time we're introduced to Lance Harbor, he shot like a movie star, much like when Michael Bay said to Will Smith, like, that's right, you're a fucking movie star. Like Brian Robbins, the director, like he saw Paul Walker, like the blonde hair, the blue eyes are like, oh yeah, this guy, he's gonna be the next great movie star. And he was in one way, just for one franchise, but again, there's a joke where like the fat lineman has CTE and they still put the coach John Voight makes sense because he's a piece of shit in real life, is a piece of shit in this movie.
Damn, you're right, but goddamn.
Puts him back in, and like that's why Lance Harbor gets injured, and then John Moxon, James Vanderbeek character. Like again, it's very similar to Any Given Sunday, where instant celebrity overnight. Because again, it's football in Texas, high school football in Texas, where it's life, death, and football in Texas. It's like that's all there is. It's a very comedic approach compared to Friday Night Lights, the movie, where Pete Berg shoots it very gritty and that dark, serious tone. And because that's based on a true story written by Buzz Bissinger.
It's so funny. A lot of football movies they try to say is like based on a true story.
No, but I mean, again, but Friday Night Lights is like it actually was.
Yeah,
based on true. And I know what you mean. Yeah, it's always inspired, but it's just like tweaked to like Gridiron Gang is inspired by a true story, but they just like you said, like the coach was white, and Dwayne Johnson's like, well, not now, he's not.
Yeah,
and they
that's how Seven Bus Productions came about. He was like, nah, I'm about to be the coach.
Mm-hmm. But which do you like out of the two, the Friday Night Lights movie or Varsity Blues?
I haven't seen them in a while, but I'll probably go Varsity Blues just based on the little bit I do remember of the movie. But of course, the
I
show of Friday Night Lights is better overall.
I saw, we'll get to that when we talk TV shows, but I mean I like the Friday Night Lights movie a lot. I think that's Pete Berg's second best movie. The first is The Rundown. Uh,
Classic.
again, which again, real quick about The Rundown and the football's relatedness to it. The Rock shows up and he's got to collect from the football player.
The ring.
And no, he's got to collect the money, and he tries to use the ring as collateral. But they show XFL highlights because it's a WWE Studios movie,
Mm-hmm.
and they're showing like the quarterback's highlights, but it's a white guy, and like the quarterback is the guy who played David Justice in Moneyball. So obviously, bad editing right there in terms of like trying to stitch things together. But it was like he plays like Brett Favre and gambles like Pete Rose, like screenwriter like bullshit. We're like, oh look how clever I am, and then The Rock's like, give me the ring, and then he's like, fuck. He basically like throws a drink in The Rock's face, and then The Rock kicks an entire defensive line's ass by himself, and like.
But did he try to walk away at first after the drink was thrown in his face?
Yep, and that's the thing where like he turns on like the killer instinct right after that. He's like, you got two options: give me the ring, or I make you give me the ring. And then he's like, option two, and then he just like does a choke slam, which we'll talk about wrestlers in movies one day when they use offense that they never use in wrestling. Like John Cena in the ring choke slams Manute Deathstroke Bennett through like a box of crates and then stops. I'm like, John Cena never does these moves. Like I remember like
he couldn't because everybody else using them.
No, he couldn't because now he's dealing with guys who are smaller than him. Like Manute Bennett's like 5'9", so John's like, oh, I can totally like choke slam this dude.
So Manute Bennett is basically Johnny Gargano.
I mean, look at Arrow. His seasons in Arrow. He's definitely like barely 5'11".
That's true.
Then they had the apple boxes or the Tom Cruise method where you use boots. But back to again, Derek Luke as Booby Miles. If you want to win, put Booby in and all that. We got what was his name? I forget his name every time, but he was the late Jet Jackson is the backup who then gets a spot when Booby gets injured.
My man was in that. I forgot all about that.
I remember when I saw that, I was like, oh my, it's Jet Jackson. I knew instantly because I used to watch Jet Jackson all the time. My guy Garrett Hedlund is the fullback with Tim McGraw as the alcoholic dad, and he tapes the football to his hands like, you're gonna fumble the ball? Fumble the ball now. Just like real like hardcore, like this is depressed, like this is dark. This is
football, bro.
Yeah. No, it's football in Texas. That's exactly what it was. Lucas Black, star of Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, is the quarterback. Wearing 20? Like what quarterback wears 20? I know it's high school, but what the fuck?
You're absolutely right about that.
Thank you, Donnie, for that. I always forget. That's because it's like two names to remember, like Lee Thompson Young, but R.I.P. to him. Again, Disney Plus. Put Jet Jackson on Disney Plus. Put the movie, especially the Jet Jackson movie, phenomenal.
I don't want to see it, bro. It's still.
I know, yeah, and very tragic passing. But Jay Hernandez, again, the safety, even though he's like 5'8" at best, maybe. But it's 1980s football. It's like 88, 89, I think.
Right. So you're not going to have these great athletes. Like we didn't start getting great athletes in the NFL to shit probably that's the whole point. Michael Vick came in.
Yeah, that's the whole point of Booby Miles is like when they at the practice, like he can run, he can throw, he can catch, he can do it all. Like he could kick the field goal. Like that got like Booby Miles was really supposed to be like the next big thing, and he got injured.
Well, they had great athletes before. Let me rephrase what I'm saying.
You mean at every position?
Not now. Yeah, not now. Yeah. Like they didn't have no Aaron Donalds back then.
Oh no, shit! If they did, fuck. Yeah, Aaron Donald, Brock Lesnar, WrestleMania 40, gonna happen.
Yeah, we need that for real.
Yeah, Varsity Blues. It just, like I said, it has the "Give Me the Needle" scene where like that's why Lance Harper's knee tore, because like they kept injecting cortisone. And they were going to do that to the running back when he got injured. Of like, if you want to go back in the game, I'll give you the needle. Like John Voight, just pure villain shit as like the coach. Very,
It's
very.
to shoot. It's not
He,
a work. It's to shoot.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like MAGA as a coach, MAGA as a human being.
Now
Do you
your
have
own
another one?
daughter hates you.
Do you have another one on your list?
I'm looking up this movie right now that Donnie said. He said the long shots. What the hell? Well, Ice
Oh, that's the
Cube.
Ice Cube Kiki Palmer movie. I've never seen that. I think Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit directed that movie.
Yeah. I just looked it up. Like, wait a minute. For a second before you said, I was like, didn't Fred
Keep
Durst
rolling,
direct that?
rolling, rolling, rolling.
No, but yeah, like I remember this, but
I never saw
not
it.
that much. I don't think I ever seen it. I don't know why I was thinking about Aquila and the Bee.
Are you gonna pick Are you gonna pick Little Giants after picking Airbud 2?
Nah. That's probably because we said the longest yard, Water Boy. We said any given Sunday. That's probably it. Oh
Do you
shit,
like
the Running Man.
the what?
Oh, the Running Man with R. Schwarzenegger. That was basically football.
Nah, shut up. Fucking A. No, I got it. What about the replacements with Keanu Reeves? Again, Faison Love's in that. He's one of the offensive linemen.
I've never seen it.
Oh, Orlando Jones is the wide receiver who like can't catch. It's basically a movie trying to parody that season where the Scabs played in the NFL, the strike season.
They had Orlando Jones playing a wide receiver, bro. He was like 50 at that point.
Yeah, John Favreau is the like linebacker, but it's like that period where John Favreau was in super good shape and then would look like how he does now.
Bro, they was like all old at that point.
No, they're supposed to be like I said, they're like guys who played in college and then didn't get their chance in the pros. They're playing. That's because that's what this year the Scab was in the NFL. They had the guys who were like 31 years old get their chance in the NFL, and Keanu Reeves, much like Johnny Utah on Point Break, is the star quarterback who won the Sugar Bowl, I believe. It's like he should just. I've heard where like people are like it's basically a spiritual sequel to Point Break, where he stopped being an FBI agent, moved to Seattle, and then they asked him to play football.
The fuck? Yeah, I've never seen this before. I'm gonna tap in.
Yeah, and much like Any Given Sunday, it's a movie where it's professional football, but it's not the NFL. Like that's the whole thing about Any Given Sunday. But like they say the Dolphins exist, so there's a world where like there are two major football leagues, and this one is treated as seriously somehow, which like would never happen.
It's the multiverse of football movies.
Yeah. I mean, are there discussions like is Dennis Quaid's Cap Rooney as good as Dan Marino's? I mean, what the like? That's I think what we're supposed to believe in Any Given Sunday. But yeah, the replacements. It's a great draft. See, I did forget about draft day. But the thing about draft day is there's not really any football action. But the last 20 minutes where Kevin Costner, the GOAT, trades picks that he already traded and gets them. It's just chaos.
It's about the Browns, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember that movie.
Yeah, it's ludicrous. It's horrible. But that last scene where Kevin Costner, channel play for it. That must be The Express. Nope. Because Rob Brown plays Ernie Davis in The Express. I never saw that either. And movies like that. I mean, the Leatherheads with George Clooney. That one's bad. And that's about like 1930s football, which is just horrible.
Okay. Oh, he did play. No, he played. But the movie is called The Express, and Chadwick is in it. But Rob Brown, like you said, played Ernie Davis. Mm-hmm. Rock is in it. Not the old Rock that we know, but Rock from the old TV show.
Wow.
Chadwick played Floyd Little.
Yeah, that's what I said. He was in that. And yeah, and Ernie Davis was the Heisman winner who then passed away really early. But yeah, I never saw that. I mean, have you seen Necessary Roughness with Sinbad, Scott Bakula?
No.
You haven't seen it?
No.
It's very much like The Replacement. So again, like those two go together in a double feature. It's a college football team gets the death penalty.
Damn.
Much like SMU did, where you don't get scholarships and your TV games are blacked out. So Hector Elizondo and Robert Loja are like the coaches who then recruit players that walk-ons or players that never played college. So like Scott Bakula is like literally 40 and was a high school star, but didn't play college football because he had to like take care of his farm, his dad's farm or whatever. So then he gets to play college football finally at 40 years old. Kathy Ireland, the Sports Illustrated swimsuit model, is the kicker. Sinbad is a professor but never played college football, so he has eligibility and he plays like defensive end, and he's got like the long arm pads that they used to wear back then. Jason Bateman is like the receiver, and this is like Jason Bateman around Teen Wolf 2 time period. Rob Schneider's the announcer. It's a decent movie, very much in the tone of like Major League, where it's comedic and not so serious. Wildcats, that's another one with your guy Wesley Snipes, with Goldie Hawn's the coach. I think Woody Harrelson's in that as well. Isn't Wesley Snipes in Wildcats?
See.
Have you ever seen that or no?
Nah, 1986. Yeah, he was in it, so he was young.
So I thought, yeah, and that's where like she's, I think like a PE teacher, and they won't let her on the staff, even though like her dad was a football coach and she knows football really well. So then she moves to like the ghetto school and becomes a football coach there.
Yeah, he was 22.
Yeah, and she like outruns every player to show that she's tougher than them, and because they're like, I'm not going to play for no female coach. And isn't there I never saw, is it Rucker Park or with Terrence Howard and Rhea Perlman, the basketball movie in the 90s, where like she's the female basketball coach at that high school? I think it's kind of like, I think that was made after Wildcats in the similar tone, but
let me see.
But that's the first time Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes teamed up, was in Wildcats, because then they do White Man Can't Jump, and then they do Money Train.
Yeah, he got a problematic clip I just looked up too from Wildcats.
Who?
Well, no, she says it. So she got a line that says, and I quote, "Let's go eat some." And it ain't no sandwich. She's talking about something else.
What the fuck?
I swear, I just looked it up right now. Hold on, let me see if I can screen share it.
Nah.
I was gonna put the audio on,
but we'll move on, I think, after this last one, because you don't have any more picks, right?
No, but I'm looking at the chat. The Blind Side, no.
No. Shout out to Sandra Bullock, your girl, for showing out in that movie. She's great. The movie isn't.
Yeah, and then apparently the kid that starred in it, he said that a lot of it was fabricated.
Yeah, fabricated. And Michael Lewis wrote the book, and he wrote Moneyball and The Big Short.
Oh, the movie Mark Wahlberg. I'm looking at the chat with Mark Wahlberg called Invincible. Remember, he's trying to make.
Again, that one's again. See, when Disney, after Remember the Titans was a big hit, and like commercially and critically, they really got into like the sappy sports movies like Dennis Quaid and The Rookie. Invincible is exactly like that, where Mark Wahlberg plays Vince Papale and is like a bartender or substitute teacher who gets his chance to play. He played like 3 seasons as like on the kickoff team or whatever. It's okay. I mean, again, Mark Wahlberg's 5'8", on steroids. You know, I mean, he's one of my favorite actors.
That better not be one of your guys.
Yeah, he's not one of my guys. He's one of my favorite actors. Just in terms, I mean,
take him off the list, at least for this month.
True. But Jerry Maguire, it has football scenes in it. I'll probably talk about it next week when we do rom-coms. But Cuba Gooding Jr. as Rod Tidwell, who is the least believable actor as a football player of all time? Do you think it's Cuba Gooding Jr.?
Compared to everybody else on these other movies we named?
I mean, but no, like they're saying like Rod Tidwell is supposed to be like, he breaks the records for receiving yards, and that's because he basically goes over the middle and all that. But like Cuba Gooding Jr. is barely 5'10", if that. I mean, it's a movie where like Tom Cruise, even though again Tom Cruise cheats, but like they're barely at the same height.
I mean, if it was taking place now, then it would make more sense. But I can see why you said that.
Well, he has the great line where he's like, Chris Carter, Andre Reed, I spoke all these fools. And then the guys are like, yeah, like, shut up. Like, no way is he better than Chris Carter at that time. But, yeah, he's got great classic. Oh, see that? No, we are not talking about.
That's what I was saying. I was like,
No.
relax. That's why I was like,
That's
I wasn't even gonna bring up the comment. I just looked at it like we can't talk about that movie.
But I mean, as believable as the football player, he's better as the personality of Rod Till, where he's like, "Fuck Reebok, all they do is ignore me," and he does like the heart. I'm all heart, motherfucker, because Tom Cruise calls him out like, "Play with your heart."
Why would you want a sponsorship from Reebok?
I mean, it's the '90s. They were the big thing in the '90s. I mean, Allen Iverson. I mean, the Pump. It's them and Nike.
That's the only time I started paying attention to Reebok in the mid '90s is when they got AI. Otherwise than that, I think they was just more so for tennis, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but no, like, Reebok it's because I think Jerry Maguire is '96, and yeah, I'd say like the '90s period belonged to like Reebok. Really, it wasn't Sean Kemp with a Reebok and Shaq. Yeah.
No, yeah, Shaq stayed there for a while. Then he went to go make his own shoes that nobody wears, but still he owns it. So I can't say anything.
The Dunk Man, right? Isn't that what he called his shoes?
Yeah, I've never seen a pair of. I haven't seen a. Actually, I'll take that back. I haven't seen a pair of Shaq since like 1999.
But yeah, I mean, I'll talk more about Jerry Maguire next week. But the football scenes in it, and the football, I mean, on the field and the behind the scene working, because it's Tom Cruise is a sports agent, which I would believe. It's great, but we'll get into that more next week. Before, right now, we'll move on to TV shows.
Real quick, that movie, the other movie with Cuba Gooding.
No.
Did they said it was inspired by a true story, right?
Well, there's a real guy, yeah.
Yeah, he recently passed away.
He passed away, a couple years ago.
Hollywood ain't shit, bro. Let's move on. That's all I said.
Do you want? All right. So you said The Waterboy is your favorite football movie, but you say Remember the Titans is the greatest football movie.
Yeah.
I will say Any Given Sunday is my favorite, but also the greatest. So, just for some clarification, like I said, I mean, it just all around cast. The writer, director Oliver Stone was like kind of falling off at that point, but I think that was like one of his last big ones. But all right, so now we're moving on to TV shows, and you know what? Because the reason this started is because you tweeted about the show just randomly, and I'm like, maybe we should talk about football movies, TV shows, and all that. And this, I think, is the greatest football show ever made, and that's Blue Mountain State, which aired on Spike TV.
Yes, sir.
Right. In the era where they had TNA wrestling, WWE was gone. They had 1,000 Ways to Die. Mansers, I think Mansers was already done. Like Ultimate Fighter, yep. Yeah. Ultimate Warrior, really?
No, the show where they had, you know what I mean? If you take this warrior from this area.
Oh, Greatest Warriors. Yeah, something like that. Greatest Warriors.
And then like the Ninja Show or something like that. The one where they was just like the obstacle courses.
Mm-hmm.
They had that around that time, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
But yeah, no, I remember when I think it was the first. I think it was the Video Game Awards or something like that, or like this whatever awards that were on Spike. It might have been video games, and they had the people from the Jersey Shore come out, and I'm like, who the fuck are these people?
Who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah, I'm like, I had no idea who these people are. Then like a few months later, the Snooki getting punched clip is like the thing. I'm like, oh my god, it's those people from the Video Game Awards. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what do they do? And it's like they were on a reality show. I'm like, oh, okay. But the guys from Blue Mountain State, I'll refer to the character names: Thad Castle, Sammy Cacciatore, and Alex Moran were presenting the award. And the guy who plays Sammy said something like Sam Bradford has an arm made out of shit or something like that. They were just saying,
remember he said some wild shit about Tim Tebow?
No, that's right. They were saying wild shit live on air, and it was getting bleeped. And I'm like, oh, what is this? Like, I like college football. I like sports. I like TV shows. And then I watch them like, oh, shit. Okay. Like, I was not expecting this, but.
Look, everything is wrestling. They went on there to cut a shoot.
Oh, yeah.
Just to put over the show.
It's really Attitude Era inspired with the women, with the humor, with, I mean, everything. I mean, the first episode, they have fucking a race with a cookie up their ass. It's insane.
Yeah, no, I went back and watched the episode the other day. I said, oh no, pause. I fast forward that shit.
And then you got to eat the cookie. It's again, that frat humor, that white frat guy.
I don't. Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. I don't play them caveman
No,
games.
it's legit because yeah, it's written by two white guys. The guy who played Sammy, Chris Romano, co-created the show, and it's that vein of humor of like again the third episode. There's a pocket pussy, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, last night I went past the episode totally too.
I had no idea what that was. And he's like,
they was past that arrest.
yeah, he's like, and then Donnie, the lineman, was like, it's like sticking your dick in a bag full of puppy ears, and I'm like, whoa, like wild shit. Like the whole team gets it's just insane.
Hey, if you ever hold on, this is an off topic kind of, but if you're a grown man and you using that at that point, just go pay for it, bro. Just go ahead, holler at somebody, try to get that and pay for it because that's nasty.
Yeah, I mean, and again, we don't know. I don't think they ever say where Blue Mountain State is, but again, fictional college, because much like most sports stuff in movies, they don't.
Say Colorado.
Is it Colorado? It doesn't seem like Colorado.
I can look it up, but I think they said Colorado.
But like, it's essentially, they can't use the real college because any college would be upset about being depicted this way. I mean, if they're, from the drinking, the partying, the drugs, I mean, all of it. Yeah, there's a rivalry weekend where Joanna Man gives the Green Arrow a head, and that's why he can't play the next game. Did you know that? Did you know Stephen Amell was Travis the quarterback?
Yeah, I think I watched the episode last night.
Yeah, which is like
that was episode.
Yeah, I have the list. That's episode 4, rivalry weekend, where Joanna Man is the prostitute that wants to.
Yeah, Miguel Nunez.
Yeah, wants to go down on Craig Shiloh. What do you have to say about? What do you have to say about Craig Shiloh? Over 10 years later, the character. Do you have issues with it or no? Come on.
Man, I mean, he's trying to get some ass, bro. His girl wasn't trying to give him no ass, bro.
Mm-hmm.
But in that first episode, she was duck with the two, but she wasn't trying to give him none. Ain't that a bitch?
Ain't that a bitch? Yeah.
And then the ring joint when she had like
the promise ring, yeah.
Hey, that's a super scent. Ain't no goddamn way, dude. You got me doing all type of shit. Like, I don't give a fuck if it's your grandfather ring. You can go with him. I'm not picking that up.
There's the 5th episode. There's only one second best, where we really see because Alex Moran, the character, I'd say I can kind of relate to a way of like being scared of greatness. Like Alex Moran just wants to coast. Yeah. He wants to be the backup, live that lifestyle as compared to being in the spotlight. Having the ability.
He was a third-string quarterback that was like first string, but he was like, "Nah, I'm straight."
Yeah, he says it in the first one, like, all I'm gonna do is like spend 4 years partying, go back to Wyoming, and become a gym teacher, like my dad. Like that's my life. It's like we see it in the progression of the series in the third season, one that he can actually play. That's why in this episode where he has to fight back for the college spot, where he's like, I'm tired of BJ's, coach. I want to fuck the co-ed. And then the coach is like, that's what I want. Like, that's that fire. I've seen this show so many times I can just like remember the lines.
Yeah, you should be spouting those out randomly though.
And he has to fight back to get the spot back, and then he loses because they try to run the Chinese field goal, which is a hilarious name for a play. But then like the cheerleader breaks the guy's leg, which is hilarious because that's the episode where all the cheerleaders get revenge. The Drug Olympics is another funny one where they like all the girl with no arms, and then he.
Dog, I remember that episode. I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember that.
The Legend of the Golden Arm, which has Lucas Till, who was Havoc. Havoc in the X-Men movies is the star quarterback they're trying to recruit. Yeah, he's the star. He's Havoc in X-Men First Class, Days of Future Past. That's the thing. They had actors who went on to do other stuff in some ways. I mean, Stephen Amell being the Green Arrow and apparently having this wrestling show on Stars coming up. But
what's the show on Stars?
That episode. There's the episode where they fight against lacrosse guys. That one's great. That war, that back and forth, where they cut their hair.
Wait, for real, Stephen Amell about to have a show on Stars about wrestling?
Yeah, it's called Heels. That was that
What?
picture of him and CM Punk you tweeted.
Oh, from last week when they thought CM Punk was about to come back, including you.
Yeah, no, originally he was supposed to be the star of the show, CM Punk, or auditioned for the star of the show. He's probably either on it as a supporting character or as like a consultant.
Nah, he should have started in that. That's the only time you're gonna be able to see him, people.
There's the episode Midterms with the late Cloris Leachman where she gives everyone hand jobs and then the kicker becomes addicted to it.
Hey, we ain't gonna read. Let's not just go back to the episode.
No, see, no, it's a great. See, no, that's how outrageous this show was, but it was fucking amazing. Marathon Monday, where everyone drinks from 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. And that's where Moran.
At this point in my mentals, it's certain episodes like that I can deal with. Not all like the little nasty white boy humor things. Like, yeah, I gotta jerk off a moose. Like, what?
There's the episode, yeah, where the crazy fan wants Alex to be his son-in-law. He wants him to get his daughter pregnant and like steals his condom. His used condom. Yeah, there was just some crazy outrageous.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like certain things like that is wild, but I can watch that. Like, but anything like this is wow. That's like, all right, bro.
I mean, there's the piss test where they had to do the oil change.
Yeah.
And then they use the fake dicks like Randy, like not Randy Moss, but that era of the Vikings, the Minnesota, where they try to use the fake dicks to piss clean after the party cruise, all that.
Yeah, see, that's why they do swabs now.
Yeah, and that's when Moran's like, just use tartar sauce, and Dad's like, tartar sauce? What the hell is that gonna do? Like, we do oil changes, like you stick it up, and everyone's like, yeah, that was very, very graphic, very fucking.
See, if we was in this era now, we got stuff for that. That can clear it out in 48 hours.
Then the bowl game, which is the final time we see Craig Shiloh, because then Sam Jones went off and did some crazy shit.
Yeah.
I think he hit and ran someone, correct?
Let me see. Because I know they had to replace him.
Yeah. Well, they didn't even replace him with another running back. They just were like, we lost a black guy. We got to get another black guy, and they got Paige Kennedy.
Yeah. That's all I'm about to say. Paige replaced Sam Jones. I thought Sam was up here doing some wild shit though. Too.
He was. Yeah, like you said, I think he hit and ran someone.
I thought because the reason why I thought he got cut off is because of something else he was doing.
I don't know.
It probably could be the hit and run.
Well, again, he was on Smallville as like Clark Kent's best friend for the first few seasons.
Yeah, that's what he's more known for anyway. And then the Blue Mountain State, he got that before Smallville went off, because Smallville went off in 2011.
Yeah. Paige Kennedy shows up as Radon Randall and is just like hilarious. I know, that's right. It's pure jokes, and the way he basically like dresses in like Ed Hardy shirts. And again, he's a 30-year-old guy playing quarterback, and like he had just like got out of Rikers prison or whatever is his story. Yeah, see, there's literally an episode 2 of season.
They had him on with those 3X.
There's season 2 of episode 2, season 2 is called The Fingering, and that's sort of the whole. Yeah, that's where again white guy humor at its worst of like, what was if a guy got a finger shoved up his ass? It's just no, like, okay, settle down.
Yeah, why y'all be playing games like that with each other, bro? That's that caveman shit for real.
I mean, I don't know really how to explain it because I don't write for shows and the ideas
you've done it before.
And I don't come up with ideas like this when I try to create ideas. But yeah, the pay for play, which is a great. What?
Remember what Dave Chappelle said in that stand up? Like, dude, fell asleep. Frank fell asleep. We like stuck a carrot up his ass. Like, you do that to a black person, I'm gonna kill that motherfucker, like, for real.
Yeah, I mean, season 2, it's great. I mean, and that's where we really see at some of the best, like with them versus the hockey team. That one's great. Where the crazy hockey players, and that's where at the end Moran finally becomes the star quarterback he was scared of. Season 3 is to becoming the starter. It progressed from them being freshmen, and they had to. And again, Thad Castle's supposed to leave. Then they bring him back by like staging him doing coke on the bus and getting arrested. And that's when they really started to use the movie tropes. Like they copied The Godfather, they copied The Usual Suspects, a whole bunch of other movies. But overall, I mean, what are your thoughts on Blue Mountain State as a whole? Best football TV show? Yes or no?
No, it's not the best football TV show, but it's damn hilarious. It's definitely, like I just said in the chat, it was at a time where we were watching Spike TV, which is the Incel network. So AEW would have fit very well on there. It was just funny, man. But as I'm getting older, or as I'm older now, and I'm going back on some of the episodes, I'm like, man, that was some wild shit they was doing.
Yeah, it's a thing that was certainly of that time, that late 2000s, early 2010s, with that type of humor, the very knocked up, bro-y humor of all that like drugs and like naked women and fucking gross shit. But I think it like
my speed. I go to sleep by 11 o'clock.
Did you ever see the movie, the Blue Mountain State movie?
That's funny. You mentioned that, and I'm looking at it right now because I'm like, I tried to watch it for like 5 minutes. I think I turned it off, but
yeah, it's bad. It's very disappointing, and it was a project they had wanted to make. Like again, they went through the GoFundMe stage. They're like, we're getting everyone back again. Sam Jones shows up. It's just, and they had Jimmy Tatro, if you know who that is, like who was like a big YouTube stars of that time, and he was in 22 Jump Street. But it just doesn't click. They do the whole thing where like Thad Castle's coming back to throw a party, and no, it just didn't work at all. It's poorly made, and you can tell they just like had the money they had and were trying to make it in like 30 days.
Right, that's all it was.
But who's your favorite character from the show?
What's his dude name? Alan. His legal name is like Alan Richmond. His character, I forgot his character.
Oh, Alan Richmond, Thad Castle, whose I think real name is Kevin. He's like, Dad's not my name.
No.
I used to have
not that. What's his name? Alan Richmond, or whatever his name is. I just looked it up.
Yeah, Alan Richmond. No, he plays Thad Castle, the linebacker.
Okay, yeah, him, because he played Hawkman as well.
Yeah, he's Hawk in Titans, and he was Raphael in the Michael Bay Ninja Turtle movies.
I just saw that too. I was like, I forgot all about that.
No, I remember. I remember like they announced it. It was like Thad Castle's going to be the mocap and the voice for Raphael. I saw the first one of those. I didn't see the second.
The second one was Out of the Shadows or something.
Yeah,
like
with Seamus and again Stephen Amell. I didn't see that one.
I saw that one. That was fire.
Really?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it better than the first one.
You like Money Plane, so.
Hey man,
so that's
just a man of culture.
That doesn't mean shit.
Hopefully, we don't get sued by the Money Plane creators.
The Lawrence brothers.
Yeah, hopefully they don't sue us, bro, for that intro.
Nah. No, we ain't getting. I mean, shit. Jeff Jarrett probably has a right to sue us first.
Man, fuck Jeff Jarrett. Come try to get some money.
But yeah, no, I agree. Thad Castle's the best character, and much like, for some reason, I think TV. I like the asshole characters, like Ari Gold from Entourage. Thad Castle is very much in that same vein of like a prick asshole, but then that sometimes like actually has a heart. But he does the whole like my dad was a war hero. You ever been to Bosnia? You ever been in the shit?
Right. That's all I'm saying. Like, I like lines like that, bro.
Yeah, and again, like he's like, my dad gave me this this pocket pussy was the last thing my dad gave me, and he's like very upset. Him and Larry have great chemistry. He's like, get off me, Larry. And the whole
Larry was Conan.
Oh, is that what you were referring to?
Yeah, because every time he'll say something, he was like, "Yeah, Dad." I'm like, all right.
Because he's like the stooge. He's the Pat Patterson, Gerald Briscoe.
So you saying Gerald Briscoe was Conan? That makes sense too. Even though
Mr. McMahon.
Even though he was Indian or whatever.
Native American.
Yeah. That one.
But yeah, no, I mean, see, I think it is the best football show because I haven't seen all of the Friday Night Lights seasons. I think I stopped after like season 2. Right after like they if anyone's seen it, they know the big story in season 2 what happens. I'm like, yep, this show is like I know I could just skip right past that, but I'm like, nope. This is just too ludicrous. It got too as we'll talk about All American in like 5 minutes, but in terms of ludicrousness,
No, no. Hey,
ridiculousness. But
you want to talk about some other shows before I talk about the best show on TV right
no,
now?
yeah. That's like, what are your thoughts on Friday Night Lights? Did you watch all of it or no?
Nah. I just watched like season 1.
Okay. And what were your thoughts on it? Did you, like you said, did you like it more than the movie that one season?
Yeah. Maybe I got to go back and watch both of them to get clarification, but I actually liked it. From the time of watching both, I like the TV show better. I'm more a TV person anyway than movies.
See, I think that's the reason I didn't like, because I liked the movie more than when I was watching the show. I'm like, I mean, it's got a good cast again. Like that's the reason Hollywood tried to make Taylor Kitsch a thing, as we talked about a few episodes ago. Like he was like the quote unquote star on Friday Night Lights, and they were like, well, he can be the star of John Carter or is John and Battleship. Like he can be a movie star. It's like, nah, not like look who he plays. He just plays the guy who doesn't say anything and drinks. I know Michael B. Jordan is on the final 2 seasons, and that's when he Kyle Chandler's character switches schools, but I haven't seen those. It's the thing where that's the thing with me and TVs. Like since I prefer movies, it's the thing, and there's so much with TV like episodes and seasons. I'm like, I gotta get through this, I gotta get through that, and there's always B and C storylines where I'm like, this is terrible, which is like why I stopped watching after season 2, because that secondary story with those characters was just like, oh god, this is bad.
Yeah, that's what I started hearing. Like after a while, people start getting bored of it. So that's why I was like, all right, I'll probably just watch season 1 and just keep it pushing. But I might go back to it.
Well, the formula was very much in the tone of the movie with like that all American, not of the show, but like, America, fuck yeah, tone. Because it's football in Texas, so it's always going to have that. It's got like the very sad score. And then Kyle Chandler always had to give a speech. And again, he was a coach that was always on the hot seat every game, because they would like every game would come down to the last second. Like, can't these guys just have a blowout? I mean, do they have to, fight for every fucking score?
Right. That's what they try to do. Like on TV shows, it's always let's end the game at the fourth quarter. Like a team is behind. I guess it just adds to the suspicious of it. I'll put that word up. But it just adds to, we down by like 20. It's like the Hawks versus the Patriots in 2017. It's like that.
The Falcons.
Like, all right. I'm sorry, yeah. I always mess that up too, which is funny. And they both in Atlanta, maybe. But it's sort of like that. Like, all right, we got to get up by 20 and we can win the game. That's how it always is in football. Like we saw Any Given Sunday as well. They was down. They got the old quarterback in, and then it was like, all right, put Willie in. And then that's what I was saying too about it earlier. It kind of made it Disney-esque because, LL had the line, I liked you better when you was throwing up. It's like, bro, what?
Yeah, that was a forgotten thing about Any Given Sunday. It was like, imagine your quarterback, the minute he gets on the field, throws up in the huddle, like.
But
like, aren't you?
That's when he start going off, though.
No, I know. It was like that was superpowers activating. Like, but no, they have like the next game. They like when Willie Beeman becomes Willie Beeman. That I think they have like blowout wins, but like it seemed like every episode of Friday Night Lights that I watched in those first 2 seasons, they either started with like 2 minutes left on the clock, they are down by 3, or they ended like that, and I'm just like, come on, I get it.
Makes sense, but I don't feel like it's necessary.
Well, really, I think it was because Matt Saracen, the backup quarterback, becomes the quarterback. Is I forget what Scott Porter's character name was, but he gets injured, so it's obvious like he's not going to be as good as the star quarterback who was supposed to go to Notre Dame or wherever. So all these games are going to be close games, but at some point, it's like. It's also dramatic, soapy TV writing, which, is something that we'll get to in All American, where it's like storytelling. It's, very like drama filled, these live and die, Days of Our Lives meets football type stories. But Ballers. What did you think of Ballers? And did you watch all of it by chance?
No, I have this thing where I'll watch something and I never finish it for the most part,
Same.
except for the show.
Same.
The show we about to talk about, I'm definitely finishing that. I'm finishing all season. But with Ballers, I saw like I think season 1 and 2, and I liked it.
Oh, okay. I saw up
Entourage
until
football, as it was once
no,
called.
that was the goal because it's the same people. It's like Julian Farina who directed a lot of the Entourage episodes, directed a lot of Ballers. Stephen Levis and Mark Wahlberg who were the brainchild of Entourage, produced it and co-created it in their ways. Were also the creative team behind Ballers as well. That was their goal. HBO was like Entourage meant a lot to us, and they were like wanted to get back that type of show, that type of audience as well. So like Entourage meets football, meets sports, and realistically, they could have done that. They still could have called it Entourage, and just like it's not about Vinny chasing the boys anymore. It's about this Entourage. Whether it be Dwayne Johnson's character or not, they could have kept the IP and just created a new idea for it. But this is where Dwayne Johnson wanted to live out his football fantasy, where he's a Hall of Famer, won the Super Bowl, played for the Dolphins. It's like, I get it. You didn't get your chance, so you're going to do it now. And I don't blame you. You have the power to do it. Good for you. But John David Washington, this is his first big breakout role. This is what then got him to do Black Klansman and then be the star of 10, and then now Malcolm and Marie, and then he'll now be in a David O. Russell movie, and who knows what's next for him. And he's believable because he played college football. He got drafted. So I believe him as like Ricky Jarrett, the star wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the thing. Like with these actors, it's always like I said, I didn't believe Adam Sandler as a star quarterback. I do believe Bill Bellamy as a star wide receiver. He seems like he could have been an athlete. LL Cool J is believable. Jamie Foxx is somewhat.
Yeah, he played quarterback though. But
that's
he
what
played
at
high school.
Yeah, I could only see him playing a quarterback. I don't think I could see Jamie Foxx wide receiver or running back, but like as a quarterback, I could see that happening. But John David Washington, and that's when you really see like, oh, this is Denzel's son, because in his kind of mannerism or tone, his voice at certain times, it's like obvious, like, oh yeah, you like there's something here, like this guy's got talent because it's genetics, and it focuses on much like Entourage, like the behind the scenes. Like we never see games on Ballers, even though it's a show that is allowed to use NFL, the name NFL, and then teams. So it's kind of a license in that way. They use the Dolphins for the first couple seasons. So it's kind of got like the blessing of the NFL in that way, because they never really try to portray it in a negative light as a league. They try to portray it as the players screwing up, or that like the guy plays for the Cowboys, but then Christopher McDonald, aka Shooter McGavin, is Jerry Jones, but not Jerry Jones at the same time. He's I think Boss Man is what they call him.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a decent. It's like a solid 7.5, I'd say. It's just weird.
Yeah. It's just it's just more so. All right, you see The Rock in a big ass tight suit.
Yeah,
and then it's The Rock talking, man. And then you see my guy from Hot Tub Time Machine that you mentioned,
Rob Corddry. Yeah,
you see him talking, and then
Omar Benson Miller. Yeah,
so it's just like a lot of talking, but it's more so the business aspect. Being an agent. So I understand that, but at the same time,
financial advisors is what they are. What Dwayne Johnson and Rob Corddry are, because Troy Garrity, who was the white barber and barbershop, is the agent.
Damn, yeah.
The son.
I ain't seen barbershop in a minute. He was
the son of Jane Fonda. But
that's funny. And he's like, my first role is gonna be a barbershop. Like, sir, you sure you don't want to be in Road to Perdition? No, I want to be in barbershop.
Road to Perdition. Wow, that came out of nowhere.
That's one of my favorite movies ever.
Yeah, no, and like I said, it doesn't focus. Like there are scenes at practice, but like much like Entourage, that never really focused on Vinny on the set too much. There was the one season where he was trying to make his comeback on the smoke jumpers, but it was more like, no, Vince is trying to get a role. Ari's making this deal, or like Eric and the guys have problems going on. Like it's the world around football without playing football, and that comes
Right.
with it. Like the women, the partying, like so and so is getting blackmailed, like shit that would happen, but they're like, it's always the off season of ballers. It's never during the season. Is the main point, because they smartly enough didn't want to shoot those scenes because one, they probably didn't want them to look bad, and which happens the majority of the time. Like when we'll get to All American, those scenes, I mean, brutal. And I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
I can't wait to talk about that, bro.
well, that's like, so there are two guys in the '90s, Mike Tolan and Brian Robbins, who did Robbins Tolan Productions. They did all that, Keenan and Kel, but they did Varsity Blues, Summer Catch, Hardball. So their expertise are like sports. Like they got like guys who played at college and somewhat in the pros, or sport people to be as the consultants to make it look authentic, because they were fans of sports, but also fans of film and wanted to make movies about sports. So when it gets to All American, which we'll get to soon, it just seems like the people making this are in it for the story purpose, not for the football purpose. And that was the thing. Like when they created One Tree Hill, this Tolan and Robbins, I've only seen like half of the first season. It's supposed to be like basketball centric, but also half a soap opera as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike Tolan would say, like, Chad Michael Murray couldn't play basketball, so they would really have to like cut around him in the editing room, whereas the other co-star could actually play pretty decently. But as the seasons got on, they stopped focusing on football and just focused on the story aspect. And those guys probably stopped being producers. But with Ballers, it was just like, we're not gonna get all this work and to show football scenes. Instead, we'll like Photoshop John David Washington playing for the Patriots in the Super Bowl, the Falcons Super Bowl that you mentioned. He somehow makes a play that Julian Edelman plays in a way. It's like, oh, okay, you're like that. It's the same thing like an Entourage, where like this actor would be the real version of themselves, but another actor would play a different person. If you know what I mean, like they'd be like David Schwimmer would be David Schwimmer, or T.I. is T.I., but like William Fichtner is not William Fichtner. He's Phil Yagoda. So there's always something going, and that was the thing with Ballers. It's like people would be a real version of themselves, or like Andy Garcia is Andre, the guy who stole Dwayne Johnson's money in The Bad Deal, but like Terrell Suggs is actually Terrell Suggs, or Jay, and fucking a lot of Jay Glazer on Ballers too. That was another reason. Like I can't stand Jay Glazer, so I'm not watching to see Jay Glazer.
Why don't you like him?
He just looks like a thumb. He just looks.
Good.
He's
That's
like
to hate somebody, but all right.
He's just annoying with that whole like MMA, football, working out, yeah, bullshit. Yeah, I'm from New York, yeah, like that type of like attitude. Like, okay, we get it, Jay. We get it. We know who you are.
But now you're a man. That's all that man on right there.
But yeah, I know the last season, Dwayne Johnson basically like filmed all his scenes in a green screen. Or like, and he's always on the phone, like he was never on set with anyone, which sounds like great television.
No, he was working, so they was like, hey, we gotta finish it, but he was like, I gotta do Jumanji or whatever he was doing around that time.
Like, I gotta do Jumanji, Hobbs and Shaw, these fucking shitty movies of Ross and Marshall Thurber.
I gotta go work out at 5 a.m. So
Clang and Bang. Yeah.
You'll learn that like soon. I hope soon you will learn that.
8,000 calories in one day or whatever he eats. More than that, whatever.
It's time for you to get on that. Why you think I'm sleeping right now, brother? It's time for you to go ahead and get these gains.
But all right. So that was Ballers. Like I said, solid 7.5. I mean, it's HBO, so it's made with quality, but just like the stories and the performances are good. It's just like maybe higher expectations or what it was, or just like that's as good as it ever could have been. But that was my main thing, was like Dwayne Johnson finally got to live out his football dreams with that show. That's the only reason that show got made. And then when he was like, I don't want to do the show anymore, they're like, all right, we're not doing the show anymore. So now we move on.
I get too much money from the Jungle Cruise, which
no,
wasn't
that
even in production at that point. But
no, but that's what I mean. It was like this show was like a side project, and this was really where he was like trying to be on some pitbull shit where like the Mr. like what 365 whatever people call it. Like Dwayne Johnson is trying to have all the jobs. He was like, I'm trying to do it on TV. I'm trying to do it in movies, commercials. I got tequila. I got Under Armour. It was like, all right, like he like world domination. So when he runs for president one day, it's gonna be. And now he's gonna do it with network TV with the Young Rock show on NBC. It's like world domination. Vince McMahon.
Wait, that's
Not
the
him
supposed
well.
to do. I was gonna ask you, isn't that show supposed to come on this upcoming week?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm waiting on that. I'm about to be
Oh
tapped
my
in. Duh, you don't want to see him as a kid getting picked up
God,
by Iron
no.
Sheik?
Who the hell wants to see that? This is
Look.
just like this. This is just like the Patton Oswalt bit about Star Wars. Like, you like Darth Vader, right? Yeah. You want to see Darth Vader as a kid? No.
I want to see this, man. You get to see the Sheik in there.
Who cares?
No,
The only
no,
if they have a scene where he gets in a fight with a kid at school and he hits him with the rock bottom and does like a sliding at people's elbow, that's what I want to see. Then I want to see
it
him.
Might happen. It might as well.
I know that's like the least believable thing, but I'm like, hey, I mean, he's the least believable.
He was 5 years old and he weighed as much as you at 5. He was your height at that age, bro.
Why are you so bitter?
No, we need to ask The Rock. Like, when the last time you've been under 250 pounds?
Tweet at him. He might respond. I mean, he responds to fucking Chuck Taylor, Trent Beretta. He responded to Chris Bay a couple weeks ago. Maybe he'll respond.
Well, that's Chris Bay. That's all.
But now we move on to a show that we only started to watch because after we were coming up with the idea for this week's episode, you and I had never seen the show, but it was a topic for our friends in the Discord that they were fans of, and I had said I've never seen it. It just looked bad. I knew the perception of it through social media with the memes, such as the bad football editing or the character Coop. I'm just like, oh, I can't watch this show because it'll just be too frustrating for me. And that show is All American. And Banks, I'll let you speak on it first because it's in your neck of the woods.
Don't ever say neck and woods at the same time.
All right, for your area.
It's Black History Month. You out your rabbit ass mind.
So, what are your thoughts on All American?
Listen, this nigga took. I understand going to Beverly Hills from South Central. Like, that's cool. I wish I could have had that opportunity. I should have played football. But for him to have to stay with them in Beverly Hills to go to school in Chatsworth is not necessary. I think Chatsworth was still LA County.
No, the team they faced was Chatsworth.
No, but then I'm tripping because but he still was going to Beverly Hills High, bro.
He's again from Crenshaw.
To move, I understand moving. Look, that's cool. That's a cool transaction and all, or transition.
After the game against Chatsworth, the quarterback snitches on him to the Chatsworth team.
Said he's not.
That's what you're confusing it with. Yeah, like he's still in Beverly.
That's what I'm saying. I'm tripping. No, but remember he had to move to Beverly Hills to go to the high school.
Yeah.
And I understand that because I guess you're trying to keep him safe, but at the same time, it seems to be
it's about the area. It's about the area code. If you like, I remember when I watched like the first 8 episodes of the original Beverly Hills 90210. There's the one girl who in real life was like 30. Her character lives one place, but she uses someone else's area code. To go to school in Beverly Hills. Yeah, so that's what I mean. So like that's what they're like again. So the quarterback snitches on him because he's jealous. So they say like you actually really have to live here with us in order to go to the school here.
Just use. I mean,
but that's not even the most ludicrous thing about the show. Tay Diggs might be this guy's father. I mean,
yeah, I'm gonna go to that too. My thing is, and I was confused, even though I just watched it last night, but still. Because it was like, bro, just use somebody's address to go to Beverly Hills. Like, ask the coach, can you use his address? But I understand,
that's essentially what they're doing. He's living there and he's living back at home on the weekends or whatever when he wants to.
Yeah, which is cool as well in hindsight because going from South Central to Beverly Hills sounds like a pretty good idea to me. But then going back, it seems like it's causing him more problems. But his family is there, so it's like, all right, cool. That kind of works in a way. But it's only 4 episodes, and his former teammate and boy just like, oh, you left? Cool. I'm gonna try to give you CTE in episode 3. Like he tries to take this man out. First of all, you can't even do that. Like they playing just field football with no helmets, nothing. Like, bro, you can't do that. They wasn't supposed to be there to begin with. So when they there, security, hey, you're not supposed to be
Security's like, come on, you guys know better. Don't make me. Security's like, don't make me call the cops, please.
Hey, by the way, the most unmotivated security guards ever, because we know security guards be ready to go, bro. For that $10 an hour, they be ready to cause wars. So when he got hit, bro, I thought that man neck was about to go. He came in. That would have been a penalty in the NFL. He went straight to the knees, it looked like. All right, so that was insane. Now, the most insane thing is Tay Diggs being with a black woman, because we know that's cat. That's ridiculous. When you said, yeah, he's married to a white woman, I was like, would it be any other way with Tay Diggs? He probably had a field day. He probably showed up like LL did on any given Sunday. I'm showing up early. We got the game. This is the game of his life. This is his shoot. He was ready to go. First day of production. He was like, bet. So them scenes when he actually
white women.
Yeah, no, that's him for real. That man said, I'll never work with Lee. This is a
Messiah, Tay Diggs.
And yeah, never mind. I was about to violate.
And yeah, what? Yeah, what? Say it.
No, not you. I was about to violate Tay Diggs even more.
Oh, you just did.
No, but it goes further. But yeah, so and then it's just like episode 1. You know, they trying to build up the program. It's like Eddie and Dominic again and Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, as soon as the show that episode, and I was like, please, no.
They try to leave us with suspense, like we don't know what y'all alluding to. Like, come on, bro, y'all might as well set it at that point.
But like I said, like
we gonna tell him the truth, and then they look at each other. Then episode 3 was it? Well, then he was a little kid, and then they cut to Tay Diggs in the house.
I think that's the second one. Yeah, that I got pissed off because one, I was like, okay, the mom, she looks. They try to make her look a little bit different. She's wearing something, so it's like, oh, this takes place back in the day. But like with Tay Diggs, they don't even try to put like a hair piece on him or like have him shave.
He probably just like ball forever, bro. Even though that's a word, but still.
No, but it's like show some of that like time has passed in a way. Like do something like
it did. Time has passed. He now has a white wife.
That's him from the. That's like he just like somehow this man's a time traveler because he looks exact like nothing's changed currently.
My biggest question is, how far are you? Because I'm on episode 5 now.
I'm on episode 13.
Okay, so as it's progressed, are they going to talk about how he got the wife? Because remember they said like, dog, he a high school coach. How is he making that money? They said he was the music producer or the friends.
Like, no. All right. So it starts out. Spencer James is basically he's your guy. He's the playmaker. He can do it all. He can run the ball. He can catch the ball. So it's too good for Crenshaw. So they recruit him on some De La Salle shit to go play at Beverly Hills. And Tay Diggs was that guy who played in the NFL, gets his knee busted. His wife is like a high-powered attorney, so that's how they got money. And he played in the NFL, so he's probably got something. He gets the Beverly Hills job just because he played in the NFL. Because when they face Malibu, the Malibu head coach is bitter that he took his job, but the Malibu coach is like, "I won titles here." So like realistically, it already doesn't make sense. So like, because it starts out like, Billy, you got to do something. You're not winning. The boosters are going to get upset if you're not winning. It's like, then why'd you fire the guy that won just for the guy who played in the NFL? Like that wouldn't make it. Already gets bad storytelling and writing. Like what team really fires a coach that wins titles? Like you can fire a coach after good seasons. I mean, that happens in the NBA all the time. Like, Lionel Hollins got fired after the Grizzlies went to playoffs, like 4 straight years. And like, right, we're only getting so far. We got to move on. Dwayne Casey took the Raptors to the Eastern Conference Finals, like 2 straight years or like multiple years. Gets fired, then they win the title next year when Nick Nurse shows up. It's like, so like I can explain it. I mean, that can be explained, but Tay Diggs, it's already like, again, he's a coach on the hot seat. You're this season you're playing for your job, coach. I'm sorry.
The season just started, and then he seems to be there forever.
No, it didn't. The season didn't just start because he's like the season, like they were already played like 3 or 4 games, and he's like, I can't.
I got to get a kid from the hood.
He's like, I can't transfer from Crenshaw Bear Hills. I'll have to sit out. He's like, I gotta wait. So already there's some shady shit going on.
But it's like, bro, like just give him the address. Like,
but no. All right, so then it gets more ludicrous. So also,
are they going to explain how? Because remember, they say the first episode, all right, he from South Central, but are they going to explain how he found the mom?
Who? Tay Diggs?
Yeah, how they hooked up.
His wife, his white wife.
No.
Oh, okay. So do you want me to spoil stuff, or yes or no?
Say spoiler alert. Hold on, give me 1 second to put that in.
I think most of our listeners have seen it again. Shouts to Donnie. Shouts to Ron.
Donnie, the reason why I watched this,
Trucker Gamer, Antonio. A lot of our listeners, and our guys in the Discord are fans of the show. So I assume they've seen it already because season 3 is airing right now, and we're still in season 1.
No, it's in yeah.
But for anyone who hasn't seen All American, it's on Netflix. Go check it out right now. But if I'm going to spoil some stuff for Banks, because Banks doesn't care about spoilers, right?
I'm gonna watch it. This is my favorite show on TV. So,
so what happens is they find that the kids find out Tay Diggs is wiring money to an account in Crenshaw, and they're like,
yeah, because apparently Crenshaw is the whole South Central, which is funny to me.
So they're like, he's probably paying it to Spencer James' mom because the son found out that they used to date in high school, like they were together. Tay Diggs' son, not the main character. He was like, so he tries to find it. He doesn't figure it out. Meanwhile, the sister has the hots for Spencer right away, and then like that's like, and then he.
I didn't even think about that part.
No, so you haven't seen there's a scene coming up where they get in the hot tub together, naked, and then the brother comes in. He's like, yes, no, it's worse because the brother comes in and gets her out, and then she's like, I like him. What do you do? You know how much courage that took? He's like, he could be our brother, and she's like, it's so ludicrous.
No, best show on TV, bro. I said I don't finish any shows. I'm finishing the show.
No, so the son can't figure out the pin to access the account. The daughter does because she looks at the jerseys hanging on the wall. It's 22 and 22. She's like, is the pin 22? And they're like, it is. What would you like to know? She's like, where is this? What's the address for this account? And they go to the address, and it's Tay Diggs' dad that he wires money to. And so essentially, Tay Diggs finds out because the dad, they bring the dad up, and the son tries to hang out with the grandfather, and Tay Diggs is like, you got to leave my family alone. There's a reason, because Tay Diggs' dad was tough on him. He was barely basically Pete Maravich's dad or Todd Marinevich's dad. The strict, you got to be the best type of dad. And then his dad does the real soap opera thing where he does like this. What happens if anyone knows about your secrets? Dun dun dun! If Spencer got mad about you dating his mom, what happens if he knows the truth? Dun dun dun! And Tay Diggs does the. It's so soapy, and he think about really, you should just kill the old man right then and there.
Bruh, but think about this though. You know how CW. They have a history.
They specialize
in shows like this from Dawson's Creek to now, where it's just it's teenage soap opera.
Teenage angst and soap opera, yeah.
But this, I'm being probably biased. This their best one because it's so over the top, and it's bro, why they just have to be? Let me tell you how I found out about All American. Well, I'll just tell you. Based on, I know somebody that works at Warner Brothers, and they was talking about the production people are cool and all that. But besides that, I saw a clip probably a year or two ago where he threw the ball, not even yards. He threw it probably 6 feet and went in slow motion. It was in slow motion, and they threw it. He threw the ball 10 feet. I said, okay, I got to watch this because why did they need that? Why do they need to slow down the frame rate for that?
No, see, they do that when someone can't play sports. is they slow it down to make it look better.
But it makes it worse.
But the filmmakers like if we showed it the live footage, it'd be even worse. That if we didn't show it tinkered, it would be way worse. But so yeah, the reason the dad and the son don't get along anymore, with Taye Diggs and his father don't get along, is because he married a white woman. The guy who played Taye Diggs' dad is essentially like, why do you have to marry her? Like, basically.
Hey, the cop scene was like, bruh. The cop scene was spot on because that's how LAPD is. But it's just hilarious that Ricky Ricardo was just like, I know my rights. Like, bruh, LAPD would have actually shot you, bruh.
Yeah, and Spencer is like, you were wilding for doing like. What? He's like, your dad never touched
you
you with the police.
But then the pops was like, I did what you told me to do. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Like, bruh. Wait, so do they explain why the mom keeps kayfabing that they don't have any money when in fact they do have money?
Who? Which Spencer's mom?
The main character's mom.
No, they have issues with money.
No, they do have issues with money. Remember, because he was like, she can't even give me lunch money. But do they explain why she's not taking money out the account? Does she not know about the account?
No, the account. No, I said the account wasn't for her. It's for the dad. Taye Diggs pays his dad. He doesn't pay the mom. So it's showing. So again, like, so the story is like, because again, like the kids tracked down the account to Taye Diggs' father. They thought it was going to be to Spencer's mom. It wasn't, because they confront him at the party where the dad shows up and they're like, they're like, is Spencer your son? He's like, why would you think that? Like, we found this account, but then that's what led us to find Grandpa. And they're like, Spencer is not my son. I promise you that. He's like, well, you used to date the mom in high school. He's like, yes, that was high school. And the white mom knows about it. So she's not like.
So he's not giving the mom anything, but he's giving it to the grandfather.
Yes. But then you find out that the mom calls Taye Diggs one day after Spencer gets in a fight. And she's like, you got to get him out of here. Like, I know you have another family, but you need to help him. And she doesn't say anything like you don't need to help you, like you need to help your son. She doesn't say anything like that. It's very like alluding to it, because again, he was close with the guy who we believe to be Spencer's dad. Who I haven't seen so far. They haven't showed the actor that plays Spencer's dad yet. Or
yeah, because remember, I'm on episode 5, so I'm like, all I remember is the coach is coming up to the house, like episode 1, like, hey, I want your son to play for us. And then at the end, that's when they did the whole alluding thing. But then apparently now he's not the pops.
So they're saying that right now, but it still seems up in the air that he could be, just based off the mom and him communicating all these years later. So it's like, and like I said, like the dad tells him at the end of it, Taye Diggs' dad is like, you know, right before Corey James left town one day, he told me something about you and Spencer's mom. And that's where he does the real soap opera, like dastardly heel thing. Like, what happens if Spencer finds out the truth? So it's like, is he the reason his dad left, that they were cheating, or that he's actually the father, or what? So it's a whole bunch of soap. And then we got the stuff with Coop and the Bloods. It's terrible.
So
it's
that drags on as well, right?
It's horrible. It's the worst part about the show is anytime Coop's on screen. And that's why I didn't want to watch the show. I would just see the memes. I'm just like, this look. And I saw the one where I think it's in season 2, maybe, where because it kept getting retweeted around my timeline where like she gets in a rap battle with someone and it just looks like excruciatingly bad.
I haven't even seen that. Apparently she's actually an artist.
No, she was on Empire. Empire season 2, her and Akeem go at it in like a rap battle.
How you know that?
I watched Empire.
Why the fuck did you do that?
I stopped, I think, after the 2nd season.
Dog, you shouldn't have went past the 5th episode of season 1.
Empire season 1 is amazing. It's top tier.
That's what I heard, but I ain't watching it.
No, it's amazing. Shouts to Taraji P. Henson. But yeah, no, Empire season 1, phenomenal in terms of the pure. Again, Lee Daniels is like in that soap opera bag. And that's taking Greg Lane.
Greg Lane. Shouts out to Power. One of the greatest shows.
You want to talk about ridiculousness? Shit.
What you mean? Plot points everywhere. Look, that was TNA writing. Power had TNA writing.
But yeah, no, I'd say with All American, it gets worse with the storytelling. Like it follows a pure soap formula. Like this person likes this person, but they're with this person. The football action's horrible. Like the quarterback is really like the worst quarterback ever depicted in any movie or TV show.
He too emotional for me, but I know he's supposed to be a team, but he going through it, bro. It's like I want to be with my guys, but then it's like, all right, I want to be here. It's like he never enjoying life. I'm like, this kid's depressed. Then he got his stepsister up here lusting after him. I'm like, bro, this kid is stressed out. His little brother having the time of his life. His little brother is smart, but then he like, damn, my brother is
I'm talking about the quarterback. Spencer's the right receiver. Well, safety. That's like, right.
He played 3 different positions.
So Tay
in the course of 4 episodes.
So Tay Diggs is like, I'm gonna recruit you. Like I see like you make plays. First day of practice. You ever played safety? Nope. Well, you do now. Ooh.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
No wonder. He played. No wonder you're on the hot seat.
But remember, at Crenshaw, he was a wideout. No, he was a quarterback at Crenshaw.
He's a wideout.
And then when he went to Beverly Hills, he was a safety, then a quarterback, but then he got into it with the quarterback.
No, he's not. He's not the quarterback. He plays the quarterback for like one play. Like he like.
But then the white dude got mad at him about that. He got mad because he was Crenshaw, not South Central. Crenshaw as well.
Asher, the Wes Welker character, essentially the Danny Amendola small slot receiver.
Yeah, because he was 5. He like 5'2".
Yeah, he's like my height. Yeah.
The thing is, it's like I thought they was gonna take it.
No, but like the quarterback, the coach's son, Tay Diggs' son, the quarterback is like horrible. Like he can't throw for shit. But then like he's always running these running plays.
Yeah, you saw Ricochet. Yeah, Ricochet.
Yeah. So you?
No, my hair has never been like that, bro. He got waves. Yeah, so Telemundo player number 1. Yeah, it was his son, but then he got into it with the son because the Wes Walker dude got into it with Spencer because I thought it was gonna be like a race thing. He just apparently hates Crenshaw.
It's some Wolverine, Cyclops, Jean Grey shit. Like that's my girl. They're like, so you're a girl for right now.
No, but remember, that's all he keep going back to though. He says one thing about the girl, then he keep going.
No. As it goes on the show, it's really about the girl. The Crenshaw thing is just the surface, or like just some shit to say.
You keep bringing that up out of everything else,
just to agitate him.
That's what I'm saying. But not leave my girl alone. Even though he said that like once or twice, he's always like go back to Crenshaw.
It gets worse with the him and the girl as it goes on, where it's like really like again like some Scott Summers.
Okay, so my brain isn't like just off. I'm just getting confused.
No, like he's
like everybody else.
It's like all of it. Like he says Crenshaw, like it's a big thing in like the first 2 episodes, but like after he helps him out in one episode and like he like because he goes to Crenshaw to help him out like fix this car. I think you're coming up on that episode. That's the episode where I think is it the same episode or am I misconstrued? No, that's a later episode maybe.
Okay, so how does
it's all ridiculous. That's how it all just like starts blending in together. Like a Porsche gets damaged, then they have to fix the Porsche, but they take it to Crenshaw to fix it, and then it gets stolen. They got to get it back. It's like,
I hate the idea that people gonna watch the show and they just think of South Central as just one street. Like
that's why I was like, that's again like you. I'm Bay Area. You're Southern California. So as soon as I started watching, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to hear what Banks is like. They don't got the street right. They don't know. It takes 45 minutes to get from here to here. Again, he says he has to take 3 buses from Crenshaw to go to Beverly Hills. Is that accurate?
Because apparently everything is Crenshaw. Yeah, you only got to take 2. All you got to do is just take the 210 or the 710 north on Crenshaw and then get off on Wilshire Boulevard and you take the 720 that goes straight to Beverly Hills down Wilshire Boulevard, or you could take it and go all the way in down to Santa Monica.
Okay.
So it's 2. If you just on Crenshaw, you could take either 2 of those buses. The 710 is faster, it's the rapid.
Yeah, no, this show is just oh my god, it's basically
like 3 buses, like bro, then you got no Crenshaw, you on the off street. You might be on Van Ness or Normandy, my guy.
Yeah, but this show makes like the OC look tame in terms of like burning through insane plot. It's just
wait. So how does the sister's friend play into this? Because remember they said it was crying about watching that Disney movie.
So Asher's girlfriend, the girl that Spencer likes.
Yeah. So how does
Yeah.
she play into this? The tall one.
Like I said, they just eventually like it's like will they, won't they? Then they happens, and then they're on the rocks as I'm watching it now. So it's just like again, it's gonna be very soapy. Is what I'm saying. It's like they're gonna break up. They're gonna get back together. You know, she left this guy for him. You find out that the white kid doesn't have any money anymore. He's just pretending.
Black History Month, we won.
The quarterback gets a hot girlfriend, and then she snitches on him essentially. Yeah, it's some crazy shit.
Great casting. Great casting for everybody, though. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie. Like they did a hell of a job, the casting directors, because everybody, like, even though the writing is what the writing is, and we both get confused. And
well, again, it's Greg Berlanti. No, I'm not confused. It's just Lucas because Greg Berlanti co-produces, and he co-produces basically everything on the CW. He is like Kevin Feige of the CW. He did Arrow, The Flash, all that, and his background is like working on soaps and all that, and that type of storytelling. Yeah. So it's like that's the reason those shows sucked for me after season 2 of Arrow. It went off the cliff, and I didn't even finish like the first season of The Flash because I'm like, I'm tired of this soap shit and seeing all the fucking superhero action be 10 minutes. Like, no, like don't focus on the bullshit. Like, she's my girl, I miss her.
But that's look, it's sad because
who's my and there's always a thing like so and so is not the real father. I am. Every time, like, oh god.
Listen, they both under Warner Brothers, right? But at least CW is consistent with their bullshit, unlike Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
unlike DC.
You know where you're getting.
Yeah. If you know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, if you're watching a show on the CW, don't expect something from HBO. Expect, some bullshit.
Oh yeah, also how I found out, and we can get off All American. You know how I found out about them as well last year when the George Floyd situation happened in the Black Lives Matter movement. Mm-hmm. I heard that they put an integral part, or I think like a couple episodes was dedicated to everything that was taking place, if I'm not mistaken.
I was gonna say, like, I'm in season 1 right now, and I think that's 2018, 2019.
2018
that is the first season of the show. Is like 2018, 2019. And there's an episode where he wants to do something, where Spencer wants to do something for the community to stop gang violence and all that. So like they are trying to do a lot of things where they're trying to not just focus on the soup, they're also trying to say something about what it is. And they say like there's a character that dies, and it's like, how many young black men are tragically killed at a young age, and Spencer wants to fix that, wants to stop the gang violence. Again, like the thing with the cops, they wanted to show that, because again, like Tay Diggs, his son, is mixed. So they're trying to show and that's where Spencer's like, your dad didn't teach you like not to do shit like that. So it's showing the different backgrounds, and again, it's the simple trope of like the guy from the wrong side of the tracks goes to the rich side of the tracks. That trope, and that's basically what the OC is. Again, he was from Chino and he moved to Orange County.
Yeah, fighting everybody.
California.
I hated that show growing up.
Here we go.
I hated that damn show. He had an issue, bro. He was
yeah, no, he was just like punching everyone and still getting his ass kicked. This man never won a fight.
Vaughn said that about the episode.
Yeah, that's like DDS, and but then like the people are like the gang members are trying to stop him. Then at the end, like everyone pulls guns on each other, like it's a standoff. And like
that's not how it ever.
I know it's and the guy who played Tupac in All Eyes on Me is on the show.
Oh really?
Yep.
So he's one of the key characters, like in season what, or this season 1, because we both on
season 1. He's like the main. Essentially, like he's the main blood. he's Suge Knight.
That's funny. That's funny for so many different reasons. That's what I said. I tweeted yesterday from our account. I said, these are the prettiest bloods I've ever seen in my life. And this is a guy that have relatives that are bloods. They ain't pretty.
But yeah, it's outrageous. I mean, goddamn. It's.
Oh, no. This is my favorite show. This is a shoot. This is my favorite show on TV right now. I'm finishing it. How I said I'd never finish a TV show. No, I'm finishing it.
What has been your legit favorite thing about it so far? Not saying like the ridiculous out of it. Like, what do you think it's done well that you like? Is there a thing?
Oh, I like
Just pure chaos that you love.
no. This is a shoot. The whole thing with his friend, being different.
Mhm.
We'll just say that, and then
No, it's like she's gay and she's openly gay to him, but not to her parents.
no, but that's what I like because she used that word when she was talking to her mom, who's I'll leave that alone.
On some
But
bullshit, yeah.
yeah, then she's like, this is just.
Yeah, Shaggy.
I just don't want to offend people, so I won't say
No, it's
exactly.
saying like no. I mean to be anti-gay, anti-LGBTQ, and all that, and
Yeah.
even if you grew up with someone, and that's what that episode's really well done. That moment where she comes out to her, and then her basically is disowned by her mother.
Yeah.
That's sort of the few times I felt bad for the character because everything after that, it's like,
Damn, bro.
and no, because everything after that is basically self-sabotage because she makes poor decisions. She's a poor decision maker. It's like, come on.
Well, let's see how the show progresses. Maybe it's a reason for
Oh,
it.
I told you I'm on episode 13. It's just still bad. It's like she's already in the gang and she can't get out.
Which is false as well. That's the funniest thing ever in these movies and TV shows. And they say once you in the gang, it's not the mafia. Once you in the gang, you always in the gang. Like, bro, you can literally I know people that just literally stepped away. Like, I don't want to do this no more. Like, even if you got stripes, you could just leave, bro.
Yeah, no, but it's something. So, lastly, we'll go on to our favorite football video games. Banks.
Hold on. I'm ready for this, bro. I got them off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, as
I'm gonna let you go first, though.
Yeah, because you're the Matrix.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve Nash.
Well, I think my favorite has got to be NCAA Football 09. I would just play that endlessly because the story, my player mode where you play the final games in high school. Then you get to pick what college you go to, and if you pick one, you're like a second stringer or third stringer. You got to fight your way in practice to become the starter. You have to do the thing where you have to balance going to class, going to the gym to get your attributes up, and then your GPA up at the same time. But I just love playing it because it's the perfect game to do the read option and to pitch it out. And I would just run read option plays endlessly. Yeah. What?
No, I agree with you. Darren McFadden was on the cover, right, of 09?
No, 09 is Brian Johnson from Utah, I believe, because that was the one I had them. I had one before that, but this was the one I played the most. Darren McFadden might have been 07, I think, or 08. But and I played this on the PS3 endlessly until all of a sudden it just stopped working, and I was devastated. I was like, fuck. And it had the mascot mode where you could play as the mascots and do side to side flips. It was ludicrous.
But yeah, they had that on a couple of NCAAs, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh no, Darren McFadden is one. So is it 2010? Brian Johnson?
That was on the 360 cover with Darren McFadden.
Yep. Yeah, no, NCAA 10 is what I meant. My bad. Yeah, Darren McFadden is on 09. I didn't have that one. And the real only NCAAs I had was 10. I had 14 with Denard Robinson, the last one. And then one time randomly, I got one from 06 where I was Notre Dame era with Brady Quinn against LSU, and I lost literally at the last second on some bullshit play. Jamarcus, it was the clock was ticking down, and right when the clock hit, they start the play, and Jamarcus Russell just runs in at the goal line, walks right in on the goal line. I was fierce. I never played the game after that. I'm like, I'm not fucking playing this game again. I would never get angry and throw controllers, but I was like, this is no, this is cheating. The game is fucking glitched. Bullshit.
Hey, bro, it's not the non-arcade related games. It's not a EA Sports game until you rage quit.
Definitely.
Yo, imagine rage quitting while you playing NASCAR.
So I think it was NCAA 06 with Desmond Howard on the cover. And I don't know why I picked it. I think it was $10, and I was like, I'll just get it because I didn't have the college football game at the time. But yeah, but NCAA Football 10, my correction, that was the one I played 24/7. Really. Oh, sorry. So what about you? What's the game? So that was my favorite. What's your favorite?
Let's do this because this is when I get turned up when it comes to video games. I'm looking it up right now. So the last NCAA football game I had was 13. And that's when they had Robert Griffin III
and Barry
played for Baylor. Yeah, that was like the special edition one though, wasn't
Special
it?
edition cover. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, for the 360. So that's when I had a burnt Xbox. Well, not a burnt Xbox 360, but I had a modded 360. So I had
Okay.
that on there. Yeah, so that one. And then yeah, I don't have too much. I remember I started playing. Oh, I remember I had the '04 one. I had that one on the PS2 NCAA football '04. I think Mark Sanchez was on the cover, wasn't
No, that would have been Matt Leinart. If it's a USC guy, it would have been Matt Leinart.
he? No, Carson Palmer, actually.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was on there. I forgot all about that, but I had that one as well. So I've been playing NCAA football games for a while, but I remember vividly I had that one because that's around the time I had. Oh, well, I've been playing NBA Live games forever. So, but I had NBA Live '04, and I got that the first day, and I think I got NCAA football probably in December of that year, which was '03.
I just remember a show I forgot to add. Oh, we'll talk about it at the end, but yeah, we'll continue video games. So yeah. So what was your actual pick then? Because you're just saying you had it, which NCAA you had, but what's your favorite football game?
I got a couple of them. Let me start chronological order. ESPN NFL Football 2K5 with TL on the cover. That was like the last. I promise. No. I'll take that back because Madden 25 was pretty good. That had Barry Sanders on the cover. That's like the last one I ever purchased. But that ESPN NFL Football 2K5. If you never played that,
no, I did.
As far as the simulators were, that's the last best one in my opinion.
Well, there's a great YouTube video about it, and I'll tweet it out from the account at tcumm admin pod, where the guy who did the video talks about like how basically Madden stole shit from that game because that was the last ESPN 2K football they did because they only did like 3 or 4, right?
No, I think they started out with 99 because remember the Dreamcast.
Oh, yeah. So that's because and the documents from that one, and it was like
because they had Randy Moss on the cover.
3 straight covers, right?
You said what?
They had Randy Moss on the cover for like 3 straight editions.
They was doing that too with NBA basketball because they would have AI on the cover up until like 05, and then I think Dan Wallace was on there after that.
Yeah. No, I remember I used to play because my dad had it, even though my dad really didn't like football, but he had the game, and I used to play as the Niners, and that's when you could use the old gold jerseys, and I had to play as fucking Tim Rattay, who fucking sucked. But yeah, I know there's a great YouTube video about that, the history of that game, and then after they shut that down, Madden started adopting the stuff used from that game essentially because it was I think like the way the plays were done or something like that. They just like like they got the recipes and now they took it.
Because basically what Madden was, the thing after that was they tried to combat because ESPN was kind of getting them out the paint. They had
because it was cheaper. That was the main point of the video. Was like the ESPN 2K was like $20-$30, something like that. It was super cheap. Yeah, it was super cheap compared. And I think it came out earlier.
Yeah, and Madden was like $50, which was the standard price at that current generation of games. And
it
was coming out later on.
The game was rigged when they were like, "We're putting this game out for $30." They're like, "Oh shit!"
And it was better overall. They had that first-person view on that as well.
All right, what's another one you got?
NFL Street 2.
I did play that one. I think that was the only Street I played.
Yeah, I had 1 and 2. I didn't have 3 with Chad Johnson on the cover, but I had 2 for sure.
Yeah. What do you think of football games like that, like NBA Street or there was a baseball one, I think. Wasn't there like MLB Stickball or something like that?
MLB Slugger, and that was from Midway.
No, but like they play an actual.
If I'm not mistaken,
they play like an actual like street ball courts like for base like.
It would be like at the main arenas or the field.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like no, there's like because then again NBA Streets again takes place on like, the blacktop and like there's FIFA Street.
Oh, so you're saying the baseball?
I think
backyard baseball? That's
no. But shouts to backyard baseball. That's the second best baseball game ever.
The
But
one man that had the hat to the back. What was his name? His stats was
Pablo,
like
Pablo Sanchez, yeah, nope, no, that's my guy from the. Oh God,
let
what
me
was his
see.
name?
Because his stats, he had
I think it
Hank
might be.
Aaron.
Yeah, no,
That man,
he. My brother would always pick him because you could pick your players. That was the dope thing. I'd always pick Barry. That was the only game where you could get Barry Bonds after 04, 05. Because in
he had
MVP,
Barry Bonds stats. Like, bro,
because we,
what's up, man?
I think it's something like Pablo Sanchez. I think.
I'm looking
Yeah,
at it
see, I
right
was almost going to
now.
confuse him with Pablo Sandoval, my guy. I was like, no, it's Pablo Sanchez, I believe. But
Remember they
yeah,
had
no,
Dante Culpepper, I'm
oh,
sorry, on Backyard Football
yeah, I
06.
played backyard baseball way better than backyard football. I played
Yeah,
backyard football; and it was all right. But me and my brother would have like wars over backyard baseball.
yeah, no, I haven't played that in years. I played that on the PC.
Um, so wait, so what was your other one?
Yeah, Pablo Sanchez, you got
Yep,
it.
that's so. Yeah,
That man had look,
yeah. All this shit was all the way up, right?
yeah, except for his pitching, but he was all around, bro. That man batting was all the way up. He was Barry Bonds. He had the running speed too. Yeah, this man was going crazy. He would have been a Hall of Famer. Otherwise, in that NFL Street,
Yeah, NFL.
I
So that
got
means like
Blitz.
okay.
No. Let me put Blitz at 4. If anybody's my age that's listening right now, you remember Madden 04. Reason why you remember Madden 04, not just because it was great, and it's probably the greatest Madden game ever made, bro. When you get Mike Vick, it's over. You read optional Mike Vick, you can't get tackled.
That's what I was gonna say. We can say that towards the end of our favorite players to use because I know Mike like I'll say this for one of my favorites because my mom had an old Nintendo and it when it would work I would play Tecmo Bowl and Tecmo Bowl is phenomenal, classic, easy. And Bo Jackson, much like Michael Vick in 04, is the cheat code, like unstoppable. Like if you ran that one Bo Jackson play, like it was ludicrous.
You can't do nothing at all.
But and I wanted like you could play as Tecmo Bowl, just really a simple setup in it, but it like worked perfectly. That's the thing where like simple games can be as entertaining as more modern ones and simple technology with all that. But yeah, NFL Street 2. The one I had was like I think it was T.O. was still on the Niners because it was him, Jeff Garcia, Kevin Barlow, Bryant Young. And again, the whole point of like NFL Street was like the tackles would be like crunching, like they were basically like wrestling.
And on the 2, it was better because you could slam them against the wall. You could run
Yeah,
off the wall and get the superpowers.
that had you could just like the super throw or whatever it was,
Yeah,
and
when you
then
get
like
the game breaker, when you get
yeah,
the game
game. There
breaker,
we go.
depending on your position,
That's
bro,
what I
it's
mean. Like,
over.
what was the So I had this on here. I never played this, but I always saw it at GameStop. It was always super cheap. Did you ever play NFL Tour?
Who was on the cover? I know it was
Sean Merriman. Sean fucking Merriman.
that played for the Chargers, right?
Yep. Yeah.
It was too simulated. They tried to bring blitz, but they tried to make it
That's
too
what I'm
simulated.
saying. I always saw. I'm like, oh, it's like it looked like a new version of Street because I never really played any of the blitzes.
Oh, you never played Blitz 01 that
Nope.
was on the 64, the PlayStation?
Nope.
Right. Yeah, you was too little. You wasn't there, bro. That's the one right there. Because you
Which
can hit somebody, then jump back on them when they on the
That's what I mean. So that was like the ultimate. Like I know that was the one where like you could like use steroids, right, or like break someone's neck.
No, Antonio, shouts out to him. He actually just
That's
brought it
Blitz
up. That's
League,
Blitz
right?
League.
Yeah, that's how that.
Because I had that on the I'm sorry, the 360.
And that's
Oh no,
not
that's the regular Xbox.
and that's where again like much like a game I'll bring up that's would try to be similar but very like PG like WWE in 2008 is Backbreaker. Did you ever play that?
NFL backbreaker? No, let me
No,
look
no,
it
it's
up.
not. It's not even NFL. It's just like Backbreaker. It's like a generic place. It's a generic football game with like no authentic teams. All the players look like they all have the same body type, and it's very similar to like Cletus, the Fox computer generated guy. But they're real. But they're just built like that.
Hey, going back to Blitz the League, guess who on the cover?
Ray Lewis.
LT.
Oh, why did I think about that?
Nah,
I
yeah, because
mean,
I remember, like you said, with Blizzard League, like you'll get like dog. People would not even just they necks was literally cracking. You could crack
mhm.
somebody's neck, they ACL tear, and they're like, all right, inject him. He good to go back. That's how it
Yeah,
was.
I know. I had a neighbor who would play that, and he would describe it. I'm like, what the? Like, I just play Madden and NCAA. I don't play that.
No, I was going crazy
And
playing
I was
that.
gonna say, like, this is. Did you ever watch? Because this is similar in tone. Did you ever watch Playmakers on ESPN?
That sounds familiar.
That's with Omar Gooding.
Playmakers. Didn't we talk about that earlier?
No, no.
Let me see.
That was the show that ESPN put on, and then had to cancel because the NFL hated the depiction of football, which is like guys using drugs, using steroids. It was just it was supposed to be like,
Oh, I remember this. Yeah, but I
yeah.
didn't see it.
You didn't see it, yeah. Neither did I. I just know, like, it was one of the times where ESPN in that era, like 04 to 07, they tried making their own content in terms of like actual like Hollywood TV shows. And that only lasted a few episodes because the NFL like threatened like to like stop working with him if they didn't cancel the show. They were
Guess
pissed
what?
about it.
We can watch it on YouTube right now. So
Oh yeah,
yeah,
no, I bet, yeah. But
I mean that's
I
crazy.
think, and I think that's why probably Blitz League, the league is probably Playmakers inspired.
Okay, I'm looking at Backbreakers. Okay, I remember this game. The reason why is because they were talking about the technology factor of it with the ragdoll physics. But otherwise than that, it was not a fun game to me.
No, again, I got it for like I think $20 around Christmas time. And again, I don't know why I picked that instead of picking like maybe because I only played NCAA football and I'm like didn't want to get Madden, so I got a game that'd be pro football. But yeah, it was not good. It sucked. Did you ever play any of the arena football games?
No, I think they didn't hit to me because once again it was too simulated, and then it was just like, well, for this I can kind of. It wasn't too arcadey like a Blitz, and I'm like, I could play
No,
Blitz
yeah,
instead.
no, it was not fun. Like you couldn't complete a fucking pass without like offensive.
That's what and then it was like too closed up. Like I'm like, dog, I've
Yeah,
never seen arena footballs like fields, but I don't think they this tight.
no, there they are. From like when you watch it on, that was the whole appeal of it. It was supposed to be like boxed in football, but no, the game was not fun at all. I remember even though I would have dope teams like I think they're like the LA Avengers and like the New York Dragons,
Mm-hmm.
and shit like
They used to
that.
play
But
at the sports arena, the LA
yeah,
team.
but it was impossible to complete anything. I was like, this is fucking
I
cool,
remember this shit.
and the field goal space was like
Yeah,
yeah,
like that's what's
like the
I can
size
pull this up, bro.
like the
Like this is
size of a
crazy.
door, like the size of a door frame. It was not fun. But what was your favorite Madden? You said Madden 25?
No, Madden 04
I don't know. Oh, Madden 04. Okay.
with Mike Vick on the cover.
So did you just use the Falcons 24/7?
Nah, I used to play as the Rams as well. So I would use the Rams with Kurt Warner. I used to use the Falcons, and I felt like I used to use I used to use the Vikings as well.
I think this is Matt because I want to talk about Madden now. Do you remember the bullshit rewind when they introduced that?
Yeah, that saved a lot of people, but it also caused a lot of headaches.
No, my brother and I almost like, yeah. Me and my brother would fight. Me and my brother would fight naturally, but that was fucking like that didn't help it. That was like the worst case.
Hey, I remember when the PS2 started, people getting online. Rage quits.
Yeah, no, I would get like an interception and then he'd rewind it, and I'm like, oh my god, like, yeah, it was. But I think Madden 08 is when they introduced that like the players with like the star effects on the bottom were like, this guy's a hammer, this guy is lightning.
Yeah, because NBA Live was doing that 06. The first NBA Live did that where you could just choose like an attribute of a player like D Wade. He could do reverse layups this type of way. He could dunk and all that.
Yeah, because
so they tried to do it with Madden, but that's at the point where everybody's like, all right, bro, with Madden. All right, the jig is up now.
I mean, I used to play a lot because that's the one that has Vince Young on the cover, and that's what I'm saying. I think that's when they really introduced that, like, Dwight Freeney, he's a tornado because he can beat guards on the swivel or whatever. It was like, oh, okay. And like as you got good, like it started to build up, like it really started to shine if that player was doing well. And then some guys had none.
That's what I'm saying. So it was just like it really didn't matter. Like it's overall got to be up there. So I didn't get into it. I was like, all right, bro. Like the last matches I really enjoyed was, like I said, 05, 06 with Ray Lewis on the cover, if I'm not mistaken, because I had that on the Xbox. And the hit stick, I think, was 05, if I'm not mistaken. And then 06 is when they had the vision, the quarterback vision. Because it's like Peyton Manning's and Tom Brady's was like wide open.
Yeah, bro. Where you had to come like it, where like highlighted like that section. Yeah, that used to piss me off. I think I played probably one of those early.
Like you, like except for online, because when you online they can't see it. But like, of course, if you playing side by side with somebody, they see it. Like, all right.
Yeah, that's the horrible thing about playing Madden with someone else is like you want to see what play you're running again, and it's like, shit, I can't. I just had to remember where this guy's going because I don't want to show my play.
Yeah,
Madden 10, that's with Troy Polamalu and Larry Fitzgerald. That and Madden 07, which has Sean Alexander. I played those ones a lot. Madden 07 is how I got started. And then Madden 10 was the one I played the most on my PS3. So, but yeah, that and NCAA football, that 2010 era were like my peak of like being into. I was all in on sports. I wasn't really watching that much wrestling back then. I was just really in because that again NBA 2K10 that has Kobe on it, and that's where I was like fully in on basketball. So that 2010 era in sports is like around 07 through like 2012. I was all in.
That's when actually having a star player mattered.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we want to talk about the 2K games, that's when having a star player really mattered, and like your overall really mattered. Because now, hell, if you got a 99, shit, you still getting locked down by a player that's like at an 82.
But then that makes it a little bit more realistic, and that's what everyone complains about. It's like, I can't dribble. Like, come on, like you're not going to be good every.
Rivers be putting clamps on me, and I'm not trash at sports games.
Look at Paul George in the regular season. Then look at him in the playoffs. It happens. You have bad games. You have good games.
But he's not even good on 2K.
But did you ever play like the mini games on Madden, where like you have to like throw it through the golden hoop, or yeah,
that shit used to be fun, especially when you do the training. Like when you do the pre-training camp, that shit used to be fun. The only thing I've always hated about Madden's is, and maybe it's just because I don't know how to take like the cap off and the trade restrictions. That's what I do like about 2K games, because I be doing like insane like trades. Like every time I get the Cowboys, I think I played the last Madden that came out, so it's not Madden 25. It was Madden 25. I'm thinking about the one with Barry Sanders that came out in 2013. I think that was like Madden 20 or something like that. Either way. So with the last Madden I tried to play, the one with Pat Mahomes, not the one that just came out.
I have the one with Pat Mahomes. I like it actually.
Yeah, I tried to do a trade, man. I tried to put Pat on the Cowboys. I was like, let me live.
Oh my God! Wow.
And then the trade didn't work, so maybe I gotta look into it, because I do actually want to get the current Madden with Lamar Jackson on it, just because it's like 50% off.
Yeah, that's how I got mine. Last year I got it like the week of the last week before the divisional playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to see, that was because it's something similar. That was the thing. Yeah, getting trades in football was always more difficult than NBA. But in NBA, you could do the cheat if you were like resign from that franchise, sign with another. I would trade. So I would pick the Celtics because around the 09 era with Rondo, KG, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce. I would pick them to start the season. Then I would resign as that GM, go to the Nuggets and trade Carmelo for Kendrick Perkins straight up. Then I would resign from there, go back to the Celtics, and then I'd have my lineup of Kevin Garnett, Carmelo at the 4, Paul Pierce at the 3, and then so like, and then after a while they stopped doing that because they realized everyone could do it.
No, but what you could do now is take off trade restrictions, take off.
No, I know that, but I'm saying like instead of doing it that way, that was the way where it was like a loophole. But now if you pick a team and you want to resign, like you have to set out a whole another year or something like that on some like, oh my God, they figured it out.
Right, exactly. But I need to get the new Madden and see if I can do something like that. Now, Pat Mahomes boy come to come to your hometown team. I think he's from Dallas or the Dallas area. Come to the Cowboys.
Well,
I think he's
I
from
think
Austin. He's somewhere in Texas, but not that east. So I gotta look at that.
well, you're saying come home. You're not even from fucking Texas, so
Nah, but he got to come home to his team. If it was me, I'm not putting him on the Rams. I'm not putting him on. Well, I can't put him on the Raiders. Why? Why would I put him through that pain? Because those two would actually be considered my hometown team or home state teams.
yeah, fuck the Raiders. So,
All right. You with your 49ers jersey saying that.
but yeah, so who was your favorite player to use in that? You said Michael Vick.
Michael Vick, Moss, Ray Lewis tcumm, Dante Culpepper, Roddy White,
Oh, okay.
Julio Jones. Yo, they had Matt Ryan playing as Matty Ice, his alternate ego, which only came out one season. That was his MVP season, probably twice. I ain't gonna do that to him. But he's cold at Madden. Like any Madden he's been in, he's been good at any Madden.
I think when did we talk about this before? I think I said that when I would play like NBA 2K for some reason in like the 2007 2009 range, Jamal Tinsley always got buckets. I think we said this with Cody Dre a few weeks ago.
Yeah, we did.
I was like, for some reason, Jamal Tinsley would always drop 40 against me. I'm like, what the like I would look up Jamal Tinsley's stats after. I'm like, he's never done this.
No, that's a 6.9 guy. Gerald Green be getting off. He gets to the lane like Jordan. He shoots threes like Ray Allen. So just those players, if I'm not mistaken. Because the running backs I wasn't that good with. Like I tried to use Adrian Peterson, like in Madden 14 or whatever it's called, 20, whatever it's called. I tried to use him, and that's the year he got hurt, if I'm not mistaken, right? In 2013 with the ACL.
I think no. I think it was
14. He came back and won the MVP, right?
No, so 2011. I think he got injured. 2012, he wins the MVP.
Okay,
pretty sure.
Yeah. So I could never use running backs for some reason.
No, I know what you mean. I always just like to use pass plays or run with the quarterback instead of using the running back. And when I would try to use the running back, I would always try to use a pitch or the counter. I would never try to go a draw or a halfback dive. I used to, because I'm a Niner fan. I used to love Moran Norris, the fullback. I'd always try to use plays for him. I like swing him out on the outside, or
Did use you him ever during my fault to cut you off, during Dynasty mode or anything? Did you ever try to use create your own playbook?
No, I created my own player. I created Davis Coleman, gave him like all the attributes.
As you would.
Mm-hmm. Again, I was the quarterback. I had all this attributes up, and I don't think I used him when I scored 120 something on the Lions. Again, this is the first time the first times I was playing Madden. So it might have been on rookie level, but I was the Niners. I faced the Lions, and I ran for like over 200. Might have been like 300 yards of like Frank Gore. I had 7 touchdowns of him. It was insane.
Yeah, that's that line that had never happened in real life.
It was. I think by the time it was 80 something to 0, and then they scored 3 touchdowns at the end, and like the final score was like 1 something to 21 or something like that. They scored at the end. Like I couldn't stop them after like a certain point, but yeah, no.
Yeah, those are the players basically, Moss. I like using wideouts a lot. But
you mean using it like as themselves, like the quarterback tries to throw it to you and you try to like make the play yourself?
Yeah, because you play as every player. So basically, when I throw to the quarterback, I just know what to do when I catch the ball. That's
hit the controls right to that.
Yeah, the spin. Yep. I know how to do all that properly. Whereas like the fullback, I'm not that good at. So
I mean, I think that's the best thing about Madden. It's like you want to do the kickoff returns because like you want to see like, oh, I can cut here, cut that. Like you could. Like, yeah, like I would hope to always be like, all right, I'll use the Saints just so I can try to do that with Reggie Bush during that 06, 07 era.
I used to kill it with them. Yeah, that's probably it. As far as the players, the defensive players, like I said, Ray Lewis, linebacker. I mean, I just know how to set up plays for my offensive linemen,
Hmm. But yeah, no, I mean, again, because
especially when
NCAA,
another offensive calls blitz. I know how to set that up.
yeah, and I think one reason we want to talk about this along with movies and TV, because I think playing video games for sports or something like wrestling gets you into it a little bit more. Like as I was starting to like actually watch football, I started to play Madden. That made me understand the game a little bit better and understand the players and like what to look for. Like some people said like they played, the wrestling game and then started to watch wrestling after that. And the main thing is like with FIFA, like people who don't know soccer will play FIFA, then that's how they learn about the games. And then when they see a soccer game on TV, they're like, oh, they understand who some people are in what ways. And that's the thing. Like this week, they announced that they're going to try to bring back NCAA football, which first day I'm buying that because I've spent like the last 2 years trying to like think about getting a PS3 or a PSP to get NCAA football on it.
You said a PS3?
A PS3, I know. I'm like, should I really try to get a PS3 or an Xbox 360 to get NCAA football?
No, you know what? I was thinking this is why I keep going back and forth. Like, I think I'm gonna get an Xbox Series X instead of a PS5 because it's backwards compatible from 360 on. So I want to play like the all old NCAA games, the NFL Street. Wait, I think Xbox. Yeah, so Xbox on, not 360 from Xbox till now.
No,
You can
really?
play. I promise to God, yeah, because I wanted to get Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic 1. I wanted to get NFL Street 2, Midnight Club Dub Edition. So I think I'm gonna get an Xbox Series X.
Sheesh. I mean, that's
I've been going back and forth with it, but
that's a
the backwards
steal.
compatibility,
Yeah,
yeah.
I might have to check that out now. Shit.
And I've seen people put emulators on it as well.
But it's the actual physical copy of the game you have to have, right?
Yeah, but on the Xbox Live Game Pass, which is better than anything on PSN, I gotta be non-biased. They have like older Xbox games and 360 games on there. Like on the Xbox front, they got like Republic Commando, that Star Wars games, Jade Empire, all those. And then on the 360 side, I saw GTA 4 because I want to go back and play GTA 4. But you can get the actual copies of the games. I mean, like Xbox games, depending on the game, it's not that much. Like, so NCAA football 05 will probably be like, bruh, probably $1. God, the truth. Like, sports games don't hold that much as far as like price. You can go back and get that.
Sure. Yeah, it says it right here. Will be Xbox backwards. Wow, I'll have to look into that then. But like, but I also have to find a copy of like NCAA football still and basketball.
Yeah,
The basketball ones weren't too bad, but they weren't as good as the football.
Yeah, because you said NCAA football 04, right? Or 09.
Well, 2010 NCAA football 10 was the one I played the most, but I played that on PS3 when I had it.
Let me see. I'm gonna go to Amazon and just see the price right now. Oh shit! I take back what I said.
It's like $50, right?
It's $73.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy. Why is it that much?
Because they don't make them anymore.
No, but for the most part, sports games. All right, let's see.
Because it's the last NCAA football game. That's why.
But the one on PS3 is $20.
Because backwards compatibility as well probably made it jump up.
That's true. Because I'm curious now. Because Def Jam Fight for New York on the Xbox.
And you're saying that
like
this is
$60.
you just looked up NCAA football 10 or 14?
Yeah. No,
and that's
10.
good. See, and that's the thing. Like for some reason, like I said, I had one day all of a sudden out of nowhere, it stopped working on my PS3. So maybe that's why it's cheaper too.
Okay, no, this is better. I don't know. Amazon tweaking. So $2.71 plus $2.99 shipping for NCAA football 10 on the 360. Okay, that sounds more feasible. It just doesn't have the case, so the other one must be a collector's item. But then I'm seeing other ones that have the case, and it's like $689.
Oh, Believe me, I've looked into like I was like, should I get a PSP and get it? I'm like, do they even make PSPs anymore?
You can get it, bro. It's very probable to get a PSP. Look, just get you an Xbox Series X like me, so we can jump on live, bro. Go ahead, spend that $500.
I don't got it to spend.
Shit, me neither, but I'm gonna still try to get one.
But on that note, I think we've talked about everything we wanted to talk about today in regards to football. I mean, Super Bowl Sunday. This is supposed to be our version of a pregame show. I'm not talking about the actual game itself. But
Which
that's
starts in about an hour.
Yeah, that's what you get with they called us madmen, is shit like this.
Right. No, who you got for your pick, real quick?
I said this on Public Enemies. I think the Chiefs will win, and I think it'll be a blowout.
Damn, I don't know about blowout. I'm going 31-28 in favor of the Chiefs.
Sheesh. I don't know. For some reason, I think Tom Brady's age catches up to him today. Even though he's gonna have all the advantages of like just driving from the next door right over, so that should help him in his old age. But still,
I don't even think it's the old age. It's just the Chiefs are going to play. We're gonna score more. That's their game plan. We're gonna score more, and y'all do something with that.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. After seeing Kansas City last year in the Super Bowl, and the Niners holding them to that score for so long, but all of a sudden, all it takes is a few plays for Kansas City to get it going, and then after that, it's a runaway freight train. You can't stop it, and that's what I mean. If Kansas City can hold Tampa Bay to nothing, even if Tampa holds Kansas City to nothing at first, I think once Kansas City flips on that switch, like they did last year when they were like they were trailing from behind against this team, then this team, and then it was over after they scored. Banks, you want to preview next week's show? Even though we already tweeted it out from the @TCU Madman Pod account, what we're going to be doing for the next coming weeks. But what is next week's docket?
I'm not talking about it.
Okay, we are going to review. We're going to review the decisive Malcolm and Marie movie by Sam Levinson, starring Zendaya and John, better than my father, David Washington.
That's not your quote either. So let's say that before somebody try to get you out of here.
And we're also going to review some other rom-coms, music.
Describe a rom-com.
When Harry Met Sally, movies of that nature, music that has us in our feelings. We're just going to get, next Sunday's Valentine's Day. So,
what you got planned?
Nothing at the moment. Hopefully something. Hopefully.
But look at you.
But we'll see.
Right.
But then after that, we got a whole bunch of shit. Like I said, this is the farthest we've planned things out this far in advance. So we'll be reviewing Vengeance Day, NXT Vengeance Day, and then I'll talk about why Vengeance, the pay-per-view as a whole, was my favorite growing up. Then yeah, we're gonna get shit rolling. We're gonna talk about movies again, wrestling again. So that's why you got to follow the pod on Twitter. You got to follow it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Follow Banks at BanksNoRest2. Follow me at Davis AK.
I won't be suspended after this.
Yeah. But follow us for updates and what we're doing. Again, we're trying to get shit moving in 2021. We've been doing this a couple months. It's not a Drake episode again. Views from the Six Pod. It might be. We might be some views from the Six Pod next week as well, but that won't be dropping till later. But no, I'll try to keep the Drake references to a minimum next week. But it'll be an interesting episode next week about two men crying.
I won't be crying. I'm just like, bruh.
It's gonna be the Chappelle joke where he's like, two men barbecuing. Love you too, dog.
Yeah. When you gonna find your Marie, dog? I'm looking.
But on that note, Banks, where can they find you? And what else do you got to do?
Follow me at BanksNoRest2 on Instagram, Twitter, all those good things. See what I got working on. But for right now, they call us Madman on Twitter.
And you can find me on Twitter at Davis, aka Drip, Davis Colton DC on Instagram. That's where you can find me plugging this show and the other shows I do, the Black Wrestling Podcast, views from the Six Pod. But right now, they called us Madmen. Oh, almost pushed that. With Banks and Davis is what we're working on at the moment, and trying to expand that and take that to another level. Banks and I are planning some shit right now. When you hear that intro, you know who did it. Not me. That's who. No.
Hey man,
Certainly not Bret Hart. That's who didn't do it.
Sharp shoot your ass about that 49 jersey.
Not with that CTE riddled head.
All right, it's gonna kick in. He gonna think you Stu. He gonna have a flashback. I finally can get the old bastard.
Have some discipline. Be
professional.
But on that note, that was the end of this week's episode, season 2, episode 6. We got a game. We got a game today.
Get ready, because I'm about to order this food right now. I know the pizza spot is crowded as hell, though. All right, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. I just